There we go. Okay. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, bet. How you doing, brother?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm all right, man. Working, trying to stay focused, maintain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which link this is so I can repost it on my story.
I don't know if I said a certain length.
Let me see.
Asiatic Soldier, how you doing? The Coastal Bull, shout out to him. Yes, sir.
Oh, there we go. I got it.
Okay, let me know when you all set so we can get going.
10 seconds. I'm gonna put this link in here and it will be good to go.
That's a bet. That's a bet.
Yeah, I was trying to find it before, but it wasn't active. So
Yeah. Yeah, so this is my first time on here. I was a little drunk when I was doing it, but we got it going.
it's all good. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm ready, bro. I'm just sending this out to my people, but I'm good to
Okay.
go.
All right, bet. So I think we're gonna get right into it. So, tell the people that might not know who you are, let them know who you are, where you located.
Well, my name is Rain. Not even sure really where to really start, but I've been dealing with domestics and exotics since the early '80s.
Right.
I come from a family of farmers who were trying to, well, they weren't trying to, they were crossbreeding, cross pollinating breeds to try to make a better herding dog on the property.
Okay.
But I had uncles that were into game dogs at the time, and the Huskies, German Shepherd, Collies, different things like that coming up. Over the years, I've probably been to every jungle on that you can go to, that man can go to,
Oh, wow.
uh, dealing with my reptile research and
Yeah.
just my passion for exotics in general. I'm not really into domestics the way a lot of people think that I am, just because I
Right.
had such a long run with canines. Um, you know, Show handling, junior show handling, kennel setups, doing, helping people with breeding programs and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, so I would say, hell, around 2000. I mean, like I said, my journey really started in the '80s, but around 2000, I mean, I started importing, started getting into big cats, trying to import reptiles. But that's when you're in the reptile world and you start asking about importing reptiles, that's when you become not a favorite anymore. So I actually had linked up with guys who were bringing mammals in and out of the country. And
Yeah.
around that time, the laws were a little bit different. They were trying to implement laws because a lot of smuggling was going on at the time from,
Right.
basically from like the '70s up until, a lot of stuff happened, especially in the exotic animal world, Operation Chameleon. You got guys like Anson Wong, Tom Crutchfield, a lot of other names. Some of these guys I actually spent a lot of money with,
Right.
coming up in high school and then all up through college. So basically, animals, flora and fauna are my life.
Yeah.
Uh,
So can you
most,
kind of get to the mammals that were being imported that you were the big cats or whatnot that you were dealing with?
ah, tigers, bobcats. I mean, a lot of that stuff was local. Bobcats, pumas, tigers.
Right.
Um, Lions is a little bit difficult. Nothing I ever got into personally. Some of the guys that I dealt with, they were bringing stuff like that over. But I mean, pretty much anything you could think of that wasn't like an elephant or a hippopotamus. But
Well, you're a dangerous man. I would say that you're a
yeah,
dangerous man. Yeah, that's something, man. Like I only dreamed about that as a kid, but that's kind of how we connected. You commented on one of my posts where I think I said I made a joke about people gonna start breeding hyenas. I was talking about the hyenas bite force, and you said you had buddies that actually bred them. So
yeah,
you,
yeah. There's a guy up in Michigan, the Exotic Empire. I actually just left that guy a message about some reptiles that he's got, trying to see if he wants to swap. But yeah, up in Michigan, that's one facility up there where they do breed. They do breed a lot of exotic mammals, armadillos, hyenas. And that's just not for anybody listening just to think that you're going to call them and they're going to sell you this shit, because they're
right?
not.
Yeah,
But I know when people hear that, they are, oh, well, it's in Michigan. It's, oh, I can just go, and no, you can't.
Right. That's because
Uh,
that's where I'm from. I'm from Michigan. I live in Michigan. But yeah, a lot of people are naive to that type of stuff.
yeah, I used to live in Michigan. I used to live up there. I
What
used to live
part?
up there. So I lived in Pontiac. I lived in
Oh,
Taylor. I lived in Flat Rock. I lived in Detroit, all in the span of like 4 months.
oh wow.
Yeah, going up 8 mile, not 8 mile, going up Telegraph Road from Flat Rock, take you straight all the way up into Pontiac. And this was long. This was a long time ago. This is when like I don't know how Pontiac is now because I haven't been up to Michigan in a while. But I mean, it was a
Right.
shithole.
Yeah, I'm
Like
about to
it was
say I
like
heard it was pretty bad for a while.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was bad. Like I mean, there were like abandoned shopping centers up there. I had never seen no shit like a whole. I mean, it
Wow.
was like a ghost town up there. It was crazy. I don't know how it is now, but yeah, I didn't stay there long. I couldn't even having the skills as a chef. I couldn't get work there, so I
Yeah.
knew. But that was when Michigan was like it was real bad. That's when like I think like 350,000 people left Detroit alone,
Golly.
and
That's probably my
that's when
whole
it was real
population.
bad. That's when it
Yeah.
was real bad.
Man. Yeah, that's crazy. So you want to get right into this dog talk? I mean, you kicked it off.
Yeah, man.
You didn't took a charge. So man. All right, so let me let me pull my questions up. So what were some of the breeds that your family owned and they were crossbreeding? What were those breeds?
A lot of German Shepherds, a lot of Border Collies, Shetlands. My one of my grandmothers on my mom's side, she was fond of Old English sheepdogs.
Yeah,
So I never saw them doing too much. That was more so; those were more so her dogs that would just
right.
be out in her private garden, in her yard, in her big house. But
Yeah,
as far as on that farm was mainly we were seeing mainly a lot of shepherd and collie crosses, which I think back in those days was 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 a pretty popular cross, especially in certain areas.
yeah.
When that was happening,
Yeah, those
and
are famous dogs. I mean, yeah, a lot of people
right.
own those dogs. Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, a lot of Rotties, English bulldogs,
Right.
pit bulls, were always a hype.
Yeah.
Because they always had a bad reputation. Poodles, there was always a lot of poodles around.
I done heard some
Huskies.
poodles are bad. I ain't gonna lie. I heard some
Well,
poodles are
that's the
bad.
first dog that ever bit me was a poodle.
Oh yeah, I do remember
First,
you said that in Battle
first dog that
Bred's
ever,
interview.
yeah, first dog that ever bit me was a
Yeah.
poodle. But yeah. Now there were that's as far as what I can remember, because like I said, I was also dealing with a lot of farm animals at the time too.
Right.
And I hadn't even been here that long. So like a lot of that stuff was new to me.
So
But
what country did you come from?
I came out of Brazil.
Oh, okay. I remember you did say that. Okay. Interesting. And I did ask you about the Fila Brasileiro.
Right.
And y'all own them as well, right?
Yeah, they had some feelers down there on the property. I mean, that
Yeah,
was depending on where you were, that was a common dog that you would see
right.
in
Brazilian
on
Mastiff.
certain fall. But out in rural areas. Like I don't. I mean, and see that's the thing. It's like my time there was so short
Right.
because there was a lot of back and forth. You know what I mean? Like coming in and out. So as far as doing anything in the city, no, I couldn't tell you anything of what was going on if there were any dogs down there going on in the city. But Brazil has always been a popular spot
Right.
for canines and felines in general ever
Yeah.
since the '60s. But yeah, the few short years that I did have there was a couple felas that did roam the property there.
Okay. Okay. So my next question. So was a Presa Canario your first dog or you owned breeds prior to that?
No, Presto was definitely not the first dog that I owned.
Right.
Obviously, one of the first dogs I ever owned was actually one of those mutts that they were crossing.
Yeah.
And the time that I was with my mom, she always had German Shepherds around, so I kind of looked at those as being my dogs. I mean, she took those dogs to work with her. I mean, they were
Right.
on point, highly trained. They were like heat sinking missiles. Dogs do whatever she tell them to do. But yeah, no, my earliest dogs that I was asking for were like Cocker Spaniels and Beagles.
Yeah.
Those were some of the first dogs that I was ever like, oh, I want that, I want this, I want that. And then, I'm talking like 9, 10, 11 years old, because at the same time, remember in 88, I started working at a reptile shop in DC. So,
Oh,
see, like I said, I was moving around a lot.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I
definitely
mean?
sounds like
We've
it.
gone from Brazil to Mexico to Cali to Ohio to DC to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
you
I
can't even
didn't,
take your shoes off, huh?
right, right. So,
Man,
well, yeah, trying to get things done with paperwork, and so you try to make things as legit as possible,
yeah,
back then, versus how they do shit now. But yeah, those were the first dogs that I was asking for. But like I said, in '88, I started working in a reptile shop.
right,
Well, I wouldn't say a reptile shop, an exotic animal shop, and that was my main focus because, a dog at that time, it just wasn't conducive to the lifestyle that, I was living with my aunt. I'm not even with my parents. I'm with
right,
my aunt now.
yeah,
And so it just wasn't, trying to get something in a cage just seemed like a better plan. The problem was dog reptiles, they weren't trying to really deal with any of that shit. But
right,
because that was, that's my life. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Their compromises were made. But yeah, I didn't start getting like really into dogs and going into dog shows until I was probably about 14, 15, but it never outweighed my passion for exotics. Like nothing. Like I will, like you could give me the best pressa in the world, let me hand pick from the best 10 dogs in the world, or I
yeah,
get to choose like one reptile. Fuck those dogs. You know what I mean? Like that's just
yeah,
what it is. I mean, dogs are they're domestic animals, and I'm a nature guy, and
right,
like I said, don't get it wrong. Like I've dealt with canines for a long, long, long time. I just kind of got burnt out. It's kind of like being a chef. That's why I don't cook anymore.
yeah,
I cooked in literally 10 of the top 100 restaurants in one single city alone in
wow,
my career with no culinary degree, and I did what a lot of people who 20, 30 years in the game never do. So, but I got burnt out,
right,
working under asshole chefs. It's the same thing, canine, reptile, this, that, and the other. Like if you don't really have a true passion for that, like cooking was just kind of something I fell into
yeah,
when I was in school for architecture, and like canines were just kind of there first. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
there's nothing like coming home to a cobra or coming home to a tree python or a big monitor lizard. Everybody's got a dog.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But yeah,
right,
presses were. Yeah, I found out about the pressa in 1992, but I wouldn't get one until years later. I'd have
right,
Corsos and dozens of pit bull terriers.
yeah,
In between that time, from like I would say from about 96. Yeah, from 96 to about 2006, I was like heavy into dogs. I was at a lot of Arba classic shows. I shouldn't say classic shows because they're not all classic shows, but I went to a lot of Arba shows, a lot of UKC shows that were like in the DMV area.
yeah,
DC, Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, New York, anywhere, North Carolina, anywhere that was close by where I could hop a train or a bus and get to. But yeah, I remember but during that time, like I said, I was obsessed with the breed, and I had been reading about the breed, like the book that I even had the book that was in Spanish because there was no other book available at that time.
oh wow,
But I spoke Spanish, so it wasn't a big deal for me to
yeah,
sit there and read that book and devise ways of how I was going to save money, to get one of these dogs. But I had
right,
already owned. I had Connie Corsos at that time that I was like reading this book, looking at these Corsos, these dogs that I really didn't want. But
right.
that's where my money was at the time.
So I'm
And
gonna ask you. So did the Corso from the ones that you owned then? Did they look different from the ones now?
oh, for sure,
Okay, so
for
what were some of
sure.
those differences that you saw in those dogs?
Oh, well, they were mutts back then.
Right. Yeah.
I knew that. I knew that early on because I'm not as how can I say it? Like I'm not as easily fooled as a lot of people. And the fact that by the time I had got the dog, I'd been to plenty of places all over the world. So I knew
Yeah.
that's not how things always worked. And I also knew that information coming into this country from other countries a lot of time is usually bogus. You know, a lot of times you get lied to on purpose because you're from over here, and they give you the wrong information, or they give you bogus pedigrees and things like that.
And that doesn't even pertain to dogs itself, neither. And that's with history.
Right. Well, that's with a lot of things. Right.
Yeah.
So it was pretty obvious. I mean, at that time, I mean, people couldn't even pronounce the name of the dog. And still to this day, you have people
Kanye,
that can't pronounce the name of the dog. And they've sold, you know, dozens of puppies and they still don't know what the dog is, you know. But, you know, I actually, the dogs that I acquired were from they were off of Tony Scandifio lines. I didn't get them directly from him, but I did get them when I was in Ohio. I got that dog like right before I left. I got kicked out of my house in D.C. So I went to live in Ohio for like a year. And then as soon as that I was done with high school, I was like, let me get the fuck up out of here. And I had I'm good. I had a blue Connie Corso that was off of Scandifio blood. And then I took that dog back with me. But in between that time, I had from the time I bought that dog, the time that I left, I had 3 other Corsos that were the brothers to that dog. Because where I lived, there was a lot of dick riders there. And now look, bro. I mean,
still something today.
Well, of course. You know, there was a lot of guys there. Like, I'm not saying that when I went to Ohio that motherfuckers didn't have dogs there. That's not what I'm saying. Because Ohio was a state where the laws were pretty much open. Like, I bought some crazy, like bobcats and some of the shit you were asking me about. I got there because the laws were so open up until 2013. When they changed the exotic animal laws. Now you can't have shit there. We used to be able to have whatever you wanted there. It didn't matter. But people had dogs there, but they wasn't really doing anything. There was a lot of dog fighting going on there, but it was all like backyard bullshit, nothing professional. You know, in the sense of whatever that is. But I mean, it was to me what I was saying was a joke. You know, I take animals very seriously. Like, it's not like that's an everyday thing for me. So it got to the point that I had guys jumping in the backyard trying to steal litters and shit.
Wow.
I had grown dogs in there, but see, these were real gang dogs. So they weren't attacking anybody.
Right.
You know, I did have one dog named Ross that was a man biter. Definitely was a man biter, but the rest of those dogs I had, man, you know, people were, like I said, I used to go back there, or my grandmother would go back there chasing motherfuckers off with garden tools, like jumping over the other side of the fence through someone else's property because they knew I had good dogs back there.
Man,
like
so
what I'm saying,
G-Ma was standing on business.
Oh yeah, no, she kept a 45. You lucky she didn't pull that out.
Oh wow.
So, but yeah, no, bro. So when I got there, what I'm saying is like niggas really stepped their shit up when I came there.
Right, because they didn't see a lot of Corsos at that time, did they?
No, they didn't see the Corso until I was leaving.
Right.
So it was from a very short time, and like I said, I had a couple guys that I was dealing with who grabbed some from this same guy, and then we ended up going to another kennel. I can't remember the name of the kennel. I remember the breeders were Bud and Lois Williams, but I don't remember the name of their kennel. It was in Tennessee. And me and some of these guys drove down there. We almost died. Actually, I saved our fucking lives that night. And we all dudes driving, fell asleep at the wheel. And I don't sleep very much still to this day. And I was just kind of gazing out the window. And yeah, we almost took us into a you know, where the highways divide up, the median. Yeah, we're getting ready to run dead into that. Me and him, and then 2 guys in the back driving to Tennessee to pick these Corsos up. And you know, there was I remember when I got there, the first thing I noticed was they had Rottweilers there. And I had also noticed that some of these other Corso kennels that I had seen online or that I had talked to, they either had Neos or they had Rotties on their property. So I was already putting things together.
Right.
You know, plus, I had been hearing stories and things like that. Plus, there wasn't a lot of information to go off at the time.
Yeah.
But, you know, I didn't know any Italian at the time. So, because I hadn't been to Italy yet when I first got this dog. When I would go over there, then I would find out. And then I would find out what the dog really was and if it ever really existed in Italy or not, according to the Italians. See, that's the problem over here is motherfuckers over here think that they know more than the people in the Canary Islands or in Italia. Most of them have never even been there and never are going to go there.
Ain't been out the state or the town. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I mean, you still have people trying to say that Connie Corso translates to bodyguard.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And anybody who thinks that, I'm sorry, you're a moron, because you have Google Translate. You can ask someone Italian. Connie is the Italian word for canine, for dog.
Yeah.
Corso means to course, to run.
Coursing master, that's what they call it, right?
It's a running dog. Where the fuck are you getting bodyguard? But you see, it's the same. We see the same shit in the reptile world, where people think something sounds cooler, so they want to use that. But then at the same time, they're a fan of science. How are you a fan of science when you just told me the science don't matter? Like they have a snake called they call it a Timor python, right? And Timor is an island in Southeast Asia. But this snake doesn't even exist in Timor. But still to this day, we call it a Timor python, even though it's from the Lesser Sunda Islands.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
So it's the same thing. It's like, oh, science, this guy classified it as Morelia, but I'm gonna call it chondropython because it sounds better to me. So when you deal with that in all aspects of the animal world, if you've been in different aspects, and you like, especially when you're dealing with, like, I think the most solid is like the fish, because the fish is the oldest and the most widely traded animal in the world. Nothing is more widely traded than the fish. It's been around. It's the oldest selectively bred animal, you know, like in history. So, but yeah, so I like I said, I had some guys that I was dealing with, and we drove and we got those dogs. And then I remember he didn't even keep those dogs for, like, he didn't even have those dogs a year.
Oh, wow.
Because he was just buying them. Well, no, it wasn't even that. It was just like, you know, you got guys who trying to sell an appearance like you see a lot of today. It was like social media before there was social media. Right. You know, because it's a small town, and, you know, you trying to show off for the next man, and, you know, this, that, and the other.
And then you don't see that dog at all the next month or something like that, you know, rehoming dogs or buying them just to buy them.
Yeah, those dogs are probably long dead, and I know for a fact they didn't even have those dogs a year. So it was like, I didn't even really want to deal with people like that, because those weren't, you know, like, I'm in it till I'm dead. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I may not be doing canines. Like I said, that's not my thing. Like, I'm more so about preserving the planet. Like, that's my thing. Yeah. But I'm always going to be doing this. So when I see people who are just, like, coming in just for the money, like, right, if you make some money, that's great. But if that's all you're here for, then you're probably the quality of your, you know, I don't know. At the end of the day, you're just a gimmick. It's just,
you're going to get washed out at some point.
At some point, you'll get a run. You definitely get a run, because you got to think in terms of your average buyer. Right. You know, the average buyer is spending, you know, the majority of the money when it comes to pets in general. And your average buyer does selective research. They don't really give a shit. They're looking for, you know, and then you have the social media buyer as well. You know, we saw a big uptick with people buying dogs and exotic animals worldwide, just getting them for social media. And then I hear like 20 dogs had to go back to so-and-so's kennel, or so-and-so's got these dogs coming and he can't even afford to take them back. But that comes from not giving a fuck who you sell to. Yeah. So
all money isn't good money.
But yeah, so that's like I said, I had Corsos before I had Pressas. And then I bought a Pressa. I'm not even sure the first Pressa that I bought was a Pressa.
I did have a question about the Corso though. So when you brought up the Rottweiler, you're familiar with the American Connie Corso? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen that, but I haven't seen a lot about it. But I know people mix Neapolitans and Rottweilers, call it a Corso.
Well, yeah, they said that the American was a Rottweiler Neo Pit Bull cross. Oh, wow. And then they said that the Italians used the boxer in place of the Rottweiler because they didn't like the Rotti. Now, then there was some dog, I can't recall the name, that was supposed to have existed in Italy that they said, no, this is the dog that they use. But if that dog's been extinct, how the fuck did you use it? Right. Like, people don't ask the most logical questions because everybody wants to sound like a fucking genius or a zoologist or you know what I mean, or scientist, and you're not. Like, we have people who actually, like, I actually have a degree in animal biology and genetics, so technically I am a fucking biologist. But you have people today now because of likes on social media who have been able to portray themselves like they know more than they really do, when the most logical questions are right in front of your face. Like, how are you using a dog? Like, people are trying to argue that the Corso has been around for. Here's the thing: you have to talk about anybody who talks about the Corso. When if you talk to them for more than 4 or 5 hours and they never bring up the Cani de Pressa, I'm just going to assume you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Right.
Because before there was a Neapolitan, and way before there was a Cane Corso, there was a Cani de Pressa, and the Cani de Pressa was the dog of prey for Italy. But it was, again, before it was a breed of dog or breeds, it was a type of dog. Like the Pressa Canario was a type of fighting dog before it was a breed of fighting dog.
Right.
And it was the same thing, but it was based in regions. In one region, they call it the Neapolitan. In another region, they call it the Sicilian Mastiff. In another reason, later on, they would call it the Cane Corso. And then in some other regions, they still will call it the Cani de Pressa. So it's like, I don't know if you remember the story. I ran into a guy who was from Italy in D.C. who was walking two solid, they were brothers, two solid black, and from any picture that I've ever seen of an old school, what they call a Cani de Pressa, or what some people like to refer to as a working Neo, that's what dogs resemble. And so when I saw him, the first thing I said was like, bro, those look like Cani de Pressas, like old school. I didn't know this guy was from Italy. I didn't know this dude from Sam, bro. I'm walking around smoking a blunt in Adams Morgan. I had no clue I'm going to run into this guy.
Wow.
So we get to talking, and he's from Italy. He's like, he don't even know what the hell a Cani de Pressa is. So take what I just said and expand on that. If you got somebody from Italy who is telling you that they've never even heard of a Cani de Pressa, what makes motherfuckers over here think that they just know everything about everything, and then they never even have any conversations that are even viable when you're talking? Like, dude, I left the dog world for 15 years and come back, and motherfuckers are still having the same argument about the Pressa that they were when I left. So if you're still arguing about some shit from 15 years ago, then you can't talk to me about progression.
No.
I mean, you got motherfuckers out here paying to get interviewed now.
Yeah.
I mean, I should say names, but
I'm going to let you know, brother, I ain't got the bread for that. We're going to leave you on scene if you don't want to get on here.
Well, no, they're paying you to interview them. That's what's happening.
Oh, wow.
That's what's happening with some guys right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're paying people to collab with them because they've dumped so much money into this shit that it's become a gimmick. They're not selling dogs. They're selling a brand at this point.
Yeah.
So now they're paying people to collab.
It's not organic.
Yeah, like you paying to get on one of the, bro, it's crazy. It's crazy. When I didn't even know, I'm like, wow, I had to go and watch it for myself to see that. But I was like, I'm not surprised. Right. But yeah, no, it's so if the Italian, if I meet this Italian guy who says he was looking at me like, who is this nigga? This dude don't know what he's talking. I'm from Italy.
Yeah.
So how is he telling me something about Italy that I don't know? That's how he was looking, and that's how he treated me. Until I saw him about 10 days later in the same area. And he came and apologized to me. Right. He's like, bro, I went and looked up what you said. He said, and it was right. What you said was true. He's like, I just never had heard of it. And my family has been breeding these dogs in Sicily, where he was from. That's why he called them Sicilian Mastiff.
Yeah.
He didn't call them Cane Corso. He didn't call it a Neapolitan Mastiff. He didn't call it, obviously, he didn't call it a Cani de Pressa because he didn't even know what a Cani de Pressa was.
Right.
I had never heard the term Sicilian Mastiff.
Yeah, I have until you brought it up. I'm like, Sicilian. I was unsure about that.
So yeah, that's the whole thing, man. You've got this I don't know why they want to fabricate this history behind this dog on both ends. Yeah. Like, bro, here's the thing, man. I don't know. I guess it's just me looking at it. I don't know. It's just a dog.
Cook, man. Cook. Let us know, man.
It's like this, bro. Like, motherfuckers don't even talk about. Some people do, but the majority of people, bro, it's like everybody is just trying to feed the beast right now.
Yeah.
Like, you got guys who got 30, 40 dogs on their yard, and they're only showing you 2 of them. And then the 2 that they showing you ain't even doing shit. But every other video, they're talking about how hot this dog is, how bad this dog is. You know what I mean? Like, this, that, and the other about these dogs. So how is it? look, bro, if everybody, let's you think about what the fuck is going on. Everybody want to have a raw meat company. Everybody got the hottest dog. Everybody got the biggest, the baddest dog. Everybody's got
dog's
a
perfect.
click now. Well, if everybody is doing the same shit, here's my question. One, who the fuck are you selling dogs to? If everybody's doing the same thing. Two, who are you learning from if all y'all already know everything?
Yeah.
Because I've talked to I've talked to so many of these guys, man. And like I said, I don't just deal with canines on my inbox. I can't keep an Instagram or a YouTube page, but regardless, my inbox is always flooded with people coming to me after hearing some bullshit from somebody else. I'm like, who the fuck told you that?
Right.
Whether it's reptile shit or, oh, so-and-so said the eggs aren't going to hatch for 90 days. I'm like, bro, one, if those eggs are viable, they're not going to hatch. They're going to hatch way before 90 days. In 90 days, those things are dead. You're looking at day 74. This motherfucker tells me, yeah, bro, you were right. Of course, because I've done this shit 18 fucking times already. Of course I've already done it. I'm not going to tell you something that I haven't done. So that's another thing. You're dealing with guys who haven't even put a real plan in motion, bro. Like they don't have any longevity. And then like Neil Matt said, they're trying to get rich.
Yeah.
They're trying to get rich off of canines. And like, bro, I don't know anybody that's gotten rich off of canines that was doing it properly.
No, they built a brand before anything. They just
unless you got a product. Unless you got a product or something like that. A great product, which is why everybody wants to sell raw food now. Right. But like I said, if everybody's selling raw, who you selling the shit to?
Yeah.
So
it's a cult. You have to have a cult following, I'd say, because you can't. I mean, they're not going to pick one brand because of this. They're going to pick because they follow you, they watch you.
But it's like everybody is doing it, and then you sit down and talk to one of those guys about nutrition, and then they're like, "This motherfucker don't even know what he's talking about." Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I get paid to make diets for people. I get paid to do genetic charts for people. Like, oh, wow. And I've talked to people. You know, they sent me things like, "Yo, bro, so and so did this diet for me. Like, does this look right?" And I'm like, bro, what? You trying to give your dog a heart attack? Well, no, he said, he said so and so and so. And I'm like, bro, look at his dogs. Yeah. Or you got guys, or everybody wants their dog to be the biggest, the baddest. So by 6 months, if their dog is not 100 pounds, it's a problem. And then by 13 months, the dog has hip dysplasia. And then they're running back, causing problems with their breeder, saying it's the breeder when it was them who actually gave the dog hip dysplasia. Yeah. So that's my problem with the dog world now, is why I don't ever want to breed another dog again in my life, because my last litter was my last litter, bro. Like the presser world is crazy. Oh yeah, I could tell. It's crazy. Tell. Just off of what you said. You got motherfuckers selling untested dogs for $5,000. Yeah, that's absurd. But it's all about the look. It's not the interior. It's just about the outside. How much that dog weighs, what color it is. Yeah, for $5,000, motherfuckers are selling you an untested dog. Bro, you can go to Presa Canario, Uruguay right now and get a real deal hog-tested Presa Canario for $2,500. Why would you buy some shit up here? For $5,000, yeah. Because it's got a brand behind it. So you're gonna sell yourself short and buy some high-priced trash to get a stamp on it? Yeah. Oh, I got this dog from so-and-so. And then when somebody breaks in your house and the dog don't do shit, now oh man, you sold me this dog. No, nigga, you bought that dog. You wanted that dog. Dog jumped in the bed with you. Like people don't even ask the right questions about animals anymore, bro. Like it's like I said, it's selective information. How big is it? What colors does it come in? Yep. How much is it? And how far are you from me? Right. It's the same thing with the reptile world. I remember back in the day, bro, I used to have to put in legwork to get coming up, 80% of the animals I bought were sight unseen. I never got to see them. But now, I spend hours on the phone talking to people trying to get this shit. Now I can just go to I can go to Morph Market, app on my phone and buy some shit. Never even have to talk to a motherfucker. One click. So that's. I'm gonna tell you this. I was on Facebook. I posted a logo or the banner for this interview we're doing right now. Somebody commented right under the post. I got two females available right now.
Bro, that page wasn't even a dog page.
So yeah, bro. No, it's everybody wants to make money. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to have the baddest dog. Everybody's got 1 million followers.
Yep.
So I'm really not sure what the fuck is going on out here anymore. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been in any presser groups, but I get sent a lot of stuff every day. Somebody's like, well, look what this guy said. Look what this person said. Look what this girl said. I mean, come on, bro. You got people out here. I seen a motherfucker that said, if the mother's ears and the father's ears are cropped, when the puppies are born, the puppy's ears will be cropped too.
Oh man. Well, they selling
and then
dreams.
Somebody that wasn't the worst part. Then some motherfucker came in and co-signed it and said facts.
Oh wow. Boy, they out here selling dreams. That's crazy.
Yeah, bro. So who the fuck am I supposed to talk to?
Ain't nothing to say.
Most of my conversations I have with myself. I don't give a fuck what a motherfucker have to say about it. You know what I mean? Like I tell them, bro, like you can say what you want about me. Like I'm proven. Like I don't even really do this shit anymore. I don't even really like I breed geckos now. I just do dog interviews because I just know a lot about specific breeds. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, the presser, bro, like don't get me wrong, the presser's not even my favorite breed. It's in my top 5 for sure. But
give us your top 5.
I like my top 5 dogs are Staffordshire Bull Terrier, Dogo Argentino, Presa Canario, Bouvier de Flanders, and then Giant Schnauzer. Giant Schnauzer, and fuck, I can't even think of the other dog. I got them in a close second, but I can't even think of the other breed. But yeah, like I said, I saw a Presa in a book, and actually the Presa, the dog Arbaco. To this day, they say that dog wasn't a real Presa, but nobody can ever really prove that. That's what they say. Yeah. But nobody knows. He looks like a Presa to me. Right. But I mean, I don't know. But I saw a picture of that dog in an old dog encyclopedia, and I just became. And it wasn't called a Presa Canary. It was called a Canary dog because that was at the time Carl Semincy's book had been out a few years before that. So he was the first one to actually see the dogs from anyone who didn't live in the islands or somewhere close by in Europe. Because I think the Italians, they were already kind of doing things with the Italians. Right. But yeah, Carl Semincy. So he called it a canary dog, and the dog was Arbaco. And I saw that dog, and that image was just in my head forever. And I was like, if I can't own that dog, I'm gonna make it. Like that's what it was for me. I'm either gonna make it dog or I'm gonna own it. And like I said, I went through a lot of Corsos, a lot of game dogs. And then I finally got a Presa. Well, like I said, my first Presa I bought from a puppy mill out in Maryland. So I bought it. My Corso. I had a blue Corso at the time. I remember that was the first Corso I had, and like I said, I got that Corso, and I went straight from Ohio after I graduated high school right back to D.C. like as fast as I could. And my neighbor across the street had like 8 or 9 pit bulls, and I took my dog over there to play with his dog, and the dog ended up getting parvo. And so so this is when I would start really learning and taking genetics and learning about parasites more seriously. Like, yeah, you might have been vaccinated for a strand of parvo on this side of the country, but over here, strands can be different. Things can mutate, this, that, and the other. And so it made me pay even more attention to what I was doing because I had to put that dog down. And so after that, I went to a puppy mill. I didn't know it was a puppy mill. I was just looking in the paper, and the guy was like, I should have known because the article, this is back, you either had to be looking in Dog World, Dog Fancy, or a newspaper. And I'm looking through the Washington Post, and there's that guy's ad in there, and he was like, Neapolitans, French Mastiffs, Presa Canario, Connie Corso, American Bulldog. He had all that shit listed. Oh, wow. I hit my aunt up, like, man, let's go. I got $700 in my pocket. I don't even know how much the fucking dog, he didn't even have a price. It was just like, It was like, I think it was like 500 and up. So I'm hoping, that this dog will fall in the range.
Right.
So we drive an hour and a half down into Southern Maryland. We get down there, and this dude's got like 100 fucking dogs, like him and this little Filipino lady. And they're just taking me through the kennel runs. And I didn't, at that point, I really didn't even want the dog. But the way my aunt was, like, nigga, you just made me drive. This is 3 hours.
Yeah, you gonna get this dog.
Now you don't want a dog? Yeah. Now you don't want a dog? So I didn't even, I didn't even want to go that route.
Right.
So he took me to where the presses were, and he had like 20 of them, all different ages and sizes. And some of them look more pressa-ish than others, but none of them really truly resembled what I was seeing in the books and the little stuff that was online at the time. Right. So I found one of the, I told him bro, I got $700. And what can I get? And he went, he was like, well, I got about 3 dogs in that range. Took me and looked at the dogs, and I got the one that resembled the best, closely resembled the dog that I had been seeing. And I took the dog home, and that motherfucker was crazy. Remember, I took the dog home now I'm in college, so the dog's not living with me.
Yeah.
So I'm going back and forth from, it's just hop on the train, go home, hop on the train or the bus and go back to college. And so I remember about a week, I had the dog about a week, getting him together. And my homeboy came over. We smoking a blunt on the side of the house. And my aunt let the dog out. The dog saw me. It was a female. She come around, little brindle bitch. She come around and she came up to me, looked at me, and sat down and was just looking at him. And he bent down to pet her, and she bit the shit out of his hands.
Oh man!
No warning at all. Just I was like, ooh! I grabbed her up, threw her over the fence, threw her back over the fence. Like, damn, bro, my bad. Like she ain't never done that shit before.
That's a real killer though. They don't say nothing. They just bite.
But she hadn't been around anybody. She'd only been around me and my aunt. So, and she was young. She was only like 12, 13 weeks old at the time.
Oh, wow.
She was young.
Oh,
she was real young. And, so I had her for about a year and a half. Eventually, I started bringing her up to school with me, up to the college on the weekends. And then all the girls who wanted to talk to me but didn't talk to me, they were like, oh, we thought you were me. You brought this dog up here. And so now my dorm room was flooded, like every weekend from this dog.
Yeah.
And then I eventually was getting ready to go overseas. So my aunt wasn't going to keep the dog because she was she didn't always listen to her. So I ended up selling her to somebody else. And then when I came back, they had actually bred the dog. They were showing me the puppies and everything. We're going to breed her again. But the dogs had a lot of white, like a lot of white. A lot of white. I mean, they were like 70, 80% white. And this dog didn't have any white.
Oh,
and
wow.
the father didn't have really any white on him either. But I remember when the dogs first started coming over, and dogs that I was seeing, they kind of reminded me more of how the Perros de Pampas Argentino looks, where they've got those white blotches on coming down around the neck. And a lot of the presses back in the 90s, I'm sure in the 80s too, but they had a lot more white to showcase than what you're seeing now, where you're seeing dogs that are generally like 90 to 99%. They might just have a little white. Their owners might not even know that the dogs have a little white on them.
Right.
But back in the day, the dogs had a lot more white on them. And more of those dogs that were coming over here were a lot older. But I know that people were going over there long before I got over there and were buying entire litters of presses and bringing them back over here for, like pennies on the dollar, dividing them up and selling them. I mean, there was a lot of beef back then, that I wouldn't get privy to until I started dealing with a guy named Tim Ponsbury when I was in college. And when I came back, because like I said, I did a year, I left, came back and restarted again. And started dealing with this guy down in Southern Maryland. And, he had some big dogs. And to the day, they say that his dogs aren't Presa Canarios. But all his dogs are in the Presa database. Which, again, to me, that's why I don't, when people talk about databases and paperwork, and all that shit is garbage to me. That shit doesn't mean nothing to me. Because you go to the Presa database, and you got dogs like Arbaco, you got Tim Ponsbury and his dog, the Tiger Guard Kennel, and other dogs. you're saying that these dogs aren't pressas, even though they're on pedigrees. And that doesn't mean they are because they're on the pedigree.
Right.
But if you honestly thought that those dogs, or if you honestly knew that those dogs were not pressas, why would you put them on a fucking pedigree? And not alone, why would you put them on there and then talk shit about them? Like, if you go to those dogs' pages on the Pressa database, it actually says, like, these dogs are da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, so why even include them if you don't even think that they're real?
Yeah.
Like, but, you know, I think I'll be honest, what I think was happening was that a lot of people were mad that he had a blue brindle Pressa.
Yeah.
Because
I've never seen one. I'm not going to lie.
Because blue in any dog, it changes everything.
Yeah.
For everybody. It changes. Once that blue comes out, dude, look, man, people are like, oh, I remember the head of the DCCA before it disappeared, because it was never going to go anywhere. The Dogo Canario Associate. The Dogo Canario. I forget what the other C stood for, but yeah, it was some group they started over here when the FCI changed the name and then changed the standard. I remember one of the heads of the DCCA was like, she said the dumbest shit ever. And I'm like, and you're the head of the DCCA and you don't even know nothing about the breed. And it was on, I used to have it screenshot somewhere. I wish I could find it. But she said, people need to stop lying and saying that the Pressa has or could ever come with a blue brindle coat or a blue coat when it has never, no dogs that have any type of, basically she was saying dogs that are black or dogs that can produce dilutions like a black dog have never been associated with the Pressa Canario breed. This is what the president of the DCCA said on the website.
Oh, wow.
So the Neapolitan Mastiff and the Great Dane, which are two of the most talked about dogs in Pressa Canario history when dealing with the dog, are both dogs that come in colors that have dilutes.
Yeah.
But here Doberman, that's dog dilute, Rotties. Yep. So, and that's what I'm saying. So everybody is just allowed to say whatever the fuck they want, even if it doesn't even if it's not true.
Right.
And it's like you have people, when you go look up Merle, right? You go look up Merle dog. You're gonna find, because this is how the trick works. This is how the creation works. You're gonna find information, like, say, if you're against it and I'm for it, and you go look it up and I go look it up, I'm gonna find information that backs what I'm saying just as easily as you're gonna find information that's backing what you're saying.
Right.
Even only if one of those things is true, because they both can't be true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's already proven this.
Right.
But people are like, yeah, I don't care. You know why? Because that fucks with their money, and that fucks with the lie that they told their clients that they're selling these animals to. And
then you mess with that money, boy, it's up.
Yeah, so they've already lied to you and told you all this shit about their dogs. So they got to keep that going. So of course, if you say, well, somebody told me that Merle dogs are da-da-da-da-da, they're going to go to their websites.
Yep.
That back up what they're saying. And they're going to say, no, that's not true. Look, see right here, it says it's totally fine. They do it in the reptile world with inbreeding. Like breeding the brethren says, oh, it's okay to do it up to 3 times. Okay, listen to what the fuck you just said. You said it's okay to do it up to 3 times. So that means when you do it the first time, you're setting the stage to cause problems.
Yeah.
Then you do it again, you're setting that shit in stone, and the third time, get this show on the road.
Yeah.
So, but the problem is the people that are giving you this information have these titles like legend, or I'm the dog god, I'm the snake god, I'm the canine goddess, I'm the Himalayan Sasquatch dog breeder. You know, they got all these gigantic, extraordinary titles that really don't mean shit at the end of the fucking day.
Yeah.
Like, bro, the reason why that's your extraordinary name is spelled wrong is because you literally can't spell, but you out here trying to give a motherfucker advice, but you're trying to make it seem like you spelled it wrong to be cool. Get the fuck out of here. No. But that's what you're dealing with now. So you got to weed through all that to try to find a good animal.
Right.
And now, like I said, everybody 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. Dude, you got dudes SoCal Pressa talking about $10,000 for a Pressa.
Yeah, that's absurd. That's a
Man,
that's
them
a car.
dogs
That's a
ain't.
used car.
I could buy 3 houses with that. Honestly, I could. No, bro, like that's absurd. $10,000 for what? Dogs
Yeah,
ain't tested.
Right.
Because he's got this story that can't be proven about him and his people's family in Spain dealing with the dogs for however long. And I'm like, that's crazy, because if my family was from Spain and we had this extraordinary story and history with the dog, I think that I would at least have one picture.
Yeah.
At least one picture.
One picture, one file, something.
But you're lying to people and you're selling them dogs for a high price based off of a story. That's not true. And if it is true, the Pressa is such an important part of the Canary Islands that it just doesn't make sense.
Right. Some people lived off that dog, right?
Yeah, I mean, for you to even say, "Oh, my family did it. My family had these dogs in the beginning." Hell, well, if that's true, then you are the person we need to be talking to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, bro, because all I know is my podcast on the same channel as his got way more numbers.
Talk that talk.
That's all I can say. And more numbers than the other guy who is going around trying to discredit people in the Canary Islands. And this dude's only had, what's his name? The Dog Father? I know some of y'all out there know.
Oh, shoot.
This dude.
I'm familiar with them. Yeah.
Yeah, he said that he's the only person in the world that has a real Pressa. That's what he said.
That's absurd to say.
Yeah, he said the guy. Look, I had a 10-minute phone conversation with him on my phone, not on the Instagram, on my phone.
Yeah.
He told me my dogs were Amstaffs. That's what he told me. Yeah, he told me my dogs were Amstaffs. I swear, bro. He told me my dogs were, because I tried to talk to him, like, to see, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To see, but I already knew he didn't know shit. But,
right.
Like, bro, you've only had the breed for 2 years.
Do Amstaffs come in brindle?
They do. You don't see it that often.
Right.
But
yeah.
Yeah, even somebody else had to tell him when he told him that, was like a mutual friend of ours was like, bro, you're reaching with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, you're reaching with that one. I'm like, well, that's so crazy, bro, that you went out here. And that's another guy who's been lying to people about the genetics of his dogs. Yeah. He's on that Dogo Canario versus Pressa, F Dogo Canario, no Dogo Canario. Okay, well, here, let me set the record straight. His dogs are just as much Dogo Canario as he's saying that they're not about the other people's dogs. And right. I know that for a fact because his dogs come off of Rockefeller Kennels. You go look at Rockefeller Kennels, the Williams brothers down in the DMV area where I'm from. I know these dudes.
Yeah.
Because one of the brothers fucked with reptiles. He was supposed to buy some boas from me, but he flaked on me every time. So, but they got all their dogs are 130 to 170 pounds. They're Pressas, but they got Pressas, Bulldogs, Huskies. They got all kind of shit down there.
Yeah.
But the mother to his dogs come from them.
Oh, wow.
And is related to a lot of those dogs that he's out there trashing, saying that those are dogos.
That's funny.
That's why everybody, I said, well, that's your man. Ask him where he got the dogs from. Right. Ask him who the dogs are registered them. How come he won't show the paperwork on the dogs?
Yeah.
I already know who bred those dogs. The nigga in North Carolina. Those dogs got a lot of pit on them. Dude, the breeding was on Facebook. Nigga, I got an ace homegirl that's a detective. Come talking some of that bullshit to me. I'm gonna send her your information. She gonna get me that shit within 24 hours. She sent me everything about that nigga's dogs. Sent me the breeding, the date it took place, the pictures of the mom and the dad, everything. Rockefeller, I forget the Rockefeller something. Then I went on the Pressa database and looked it up. So anybody y'all listening to this man talking about he got real deal Pressas and nobody else does, and F the Dogo Canario. First of all, there is no difference between a Dogo. The same difference between a Dogo Canario and a Pressa Canario is the same difference between an Amstaff and an American Pit Bull Terrier. We're talking about, unless you can show me where they said that Dogo Canario is a different recipe or Amstaff is a different recipe than a pit bull because changing a name doesn't make it a breed.
No, that doesn't make it a different breed. No.
Allowing dogs to be bigger or smaller, that's just another phenotype.
Right.
In order,
it's a different method.
Like this, I remember when the Pressa came out, in the Canary Islands, they didn't want the black dog. They said no to the black dog, some of the people. Because there was always a beef between the islands. They didn't agree. Still to this day, they don't agree, really.
Right.
But they said they didn't want the black dog, right? So that's why you have some people now like, oh, black presses aren't real presses. A black press is not a real presser. But here's the thing, right? In order for you to say you don't want something, that means that it had to be there in the beginning.
Yeah.
How can you disqualify some shit that never happened?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
How can you say, oh, the dog was never 150 pounds when they were using Neapolitan Mastiffs and Great Danes? We know that Great Danes can top the scales and Neapolitans currently. We have to talk about currently. We can't talk about the working Neos of the past because they didn't use the working Neos of the past. They used what they had currently.
Right, and those dogs can get to 200 easily.
And those dogs are huge. So how in the hell can you think that? That's why I said, like, bro, I just kill all their arguments with simple logic.
Right.
Because they're not thinking, bro. They're too busy trying to sell you a dream to get the most amount of money out of you that they can.
Yeah. Boy.
That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. Like, like I was saying, like a lot of people they were jealous that old boy had that blue brindle dog. Because like I said, that shit changes everything.
Yeah.
Because if one of those people had it, it'd be all kind of blue brindle presses around this motherfucker.
Right.
But because Tobin had it and then he sold it to Matt, and then Matt did a little bit of stuff with it. And that's the thing, is like they never said anything bad about Matt. They were always talking shit about Tobin. Still to this day, Tobin. When you say
Tobin,
dead.
you talking about Tobin Jackson?
Yeah. Still to this day, Tobin long gone and dead, and they still throwing dirt on that man's name to this day. And some of the people throwing dirt on that man's name, dogs, especially in the presser game, are less than fucking ethical.
Oh man.
I mean, you got kennels out here, top kennels out here selling you half dogo, half presses as presses, and I know that that's going on for a fact.
Yeah.
So it's like I really don't know. I really don't know where the dog world is going to be in the next 5 years. I mean, the government wants to shut all this shit down anyway, domestic and exotic. So, but yeah, bro, it's real gimmicky now. It's real gimmicky. The presser then, man, motherfuckers were scared of that dog. That's why I wanted it.
Right.
Well, niggas were scared. That's why the Corso is so popular. Now everybody wants a presser because the dog is all watered down now. Yep. They didn't want them dogs that I was importing back in the day. Because them niggas was too scared, bro. These niggas don't even have. You can't even keep your homies in line. They weren't trying to keep no 120-pound grown dog in line that has never seen you before, that has come off of somebody's farm thousands of miles away from another country. Yeah. That has just gone nuts in a kennel. If you weren't prepared to go out there and beat that dog to death with a crowbar, you shouldn't have been bringing those dogs over there, because that dog was definitely prepared to come out of that kennel and kill your ass.
Oh yeah, easily.
And they knew that when they were selling those dogs over here. There were so many people had so many stories of the dogs chewing through the crates, or them having it, or trying to send the dog. But they're not about to let you send that dog back. You're not sending that dog back. Nope. Get the dog out the crate, and the dog is just roaming the yard for 3 days straight,
doing what it wants.
Decide to shoot it because he can't. He's not going to be able to maintain it. I've had it's like when I go pick a presser. If I don't see certain things immediately, I'm cool. I'll walk. I'm gonna fuck.
What are those things that you look for in a presser puppy?
If one, I don't even want to see the dog before it's 4 months old.
Yeah.
So a lot. So it's hard for me to even do that. Luckily, I was able to do that with the dog that I had, with all the dogs that I had and the dog that I have now. But 4.5-month-old dog shouldn't let me touch it.
Yeah.
4.5-month-old dog not necessarily should be trying to attack me, but should be trying to get me to fuck off the property. Should be barking at me. Should be standing this ground.
Right.
You know, I shouldn't be able to go and grab that dog. I shouldn't be able to get close to that dog. That dog should be checking me out, growling, barking like him, like my Champa and his brother. Kurt had to put those dogs in my truck.
Oh wow.
Because I couldn't touch them, and I expect that because those were that's before I ever owned a Pressa, a real what that they would say was a real Pressa. Ross Poole told me. That's who was schooling me back in the day at Elite Guardian Kennels. Ross Poole told me, he's like, bro, you know, these dogs will kill you, even as the owner. I don't know if you want that. I don't really want to deal with that. So that's exactly what I want to deal with. Like, bro, you don't know. I got all kind of, you know, he didn't know that, you know, until later on, because Ross Poole was an exotic animal guy too. He got caught with some turtles he wasn't supposed to have. And then he went up, did some time, and came back and got into the presses.
Wow.
But yeah, he told me that they're bitey, you know, they're this, they're that. And I was like, oh, that's good. I can handle that. Don't worry. Yeah. So, but a lot of cats back then, they did not want to deal with that, just off the stories alone. So the Corso became ever popular, just kept climbing the charts. And then around that time, that's when the American Bully was being developed. Yeah. Also was happening in the DMV. Mm-hmm. And so the dogs that I have now, I wouldn't own those dogs if they weren't like the dogs of back in the day. Yeah. But I can tell you right now that I wouldn't buy a Pressa for 98%. 98.9% of people that have Pressas, I wouldn't buy a dog from them.
Wow.
I wouldn't buy a dog from them. There's very few people that I would buy a dog from. And not all of that is to say that people's dogs are bad. I would say about 70% of those dogs are trash, in my opinion. Yeah. The other 30% is just not for me. I don't like big dogs. I don't like 130, 120. Like 120 is max for me, but like Champa's like on a good day, that dog's like 110, 112 pounds. Like a 100-pound male is great for me. Yeah. You know, I've had full-blooded Pressa bitches here that were 63 pounds. And motherfucker can say what they want because most people don't know the history of the dog. You can look at her and I can show you pictures of dogs in the 50s and 60s. They look fucking identical. Right. Same height, 50, 60, 70-pound dog. But yeah, you think that dog is a joke. That bitch was gunfire. She was like a fucking megaton bomb. She was like a straight game dog. Yeah. Attack anything moving, she's gonna hit it. But wouldn't protect the house to save her own fucking life. Because she was like a pit bull. Yeah. She looked like a longer, bigger pit bull. Like a lot of people would see her in town and was like, man, that's a funny looking pit bull. Because it's not a pit bull. Right. She was that reverse brindle, so a lot of people don't see that color. And so they would see her. And I remember one guy was like, man, that's a long dog. And I was like, yeah, it's a Pressa. She's supposed to be supposed to be long, but she wasn't big, but you could look at her and see. So, but yeah, she would run off with any stranger. That's why she ain't here no more. I don't like that shit. That's one thing about me. Like I love pit bulls. Mm-hmm. Like I love Staffordshire Bull Terriers, but that friendliness with people,
they're real friendly.
I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that at all. I don't. If you're not somebody I know, you're not in my house. I don't want you touching my dog. I really don't even want you looking at that motherfucker. Right. Don't ask me no questions about it. That's how I am, honestly. I'm getting older. I'm like, yeah, don't, because, bro, I've had some instances, bro. I'll tell you, I think I told this story maybe before. I don't remember, bro. When I was in Cincinnati, I ran into this guy in my neighborhood that had a Pressa, or at least he said it was a Pressa. And I was on my porch smoking a blunt, and I seen him walking the dog, and I thought that's what it might have been. So I came off my porch. Actually, I was on my homeboy's porch. I came down off the porch, and when I started talking to him, we ended up getting into an argument. Because I'm like, bro, that's not a Pressa. And because the back was straight. Yeah. Like, that ain't no Pressa. And he lied to me at first. He was like, well, I got this dog from so-and-so, Bonafide Kennels. Anybody that knows Bonafide Presses, he does Rottweiler. I mean, he does Borbals now. Burbles, as it's really pronounced, Burbles. He does Burbles now because he got sick of dealing with the presses. He's like, I just got sick of the bullshit with the presses, so I left. But he was like, yeah, I got this from Bonafide Kennels. So-and-so. I'm like, oh, really? See, but niggas didn't know who I knew. I'm like, oh, you got it from Bonafide Kennels? Hold on. Pull my phone out. We call Bonafide Kennels on speakerphone real quick.
Put him on the spot.
Yeah, because I do that.
Man. Yeah.
He's like, what's good? I'm like, yeah, I got a dude here to say he got a dog from you. He said, where you at? I said, I'm in Ohio. He said, nigga, I don't sell dogs to niggas in Ohio.
Oh, man.
He said, so he ain't got a dog for me. I said, okay, that's all I needed to know. I'm going to holler at you. I get off. Now this nigga get to threatening me.
He hot.
Talking about, yeah, he hot. He's like, oh, well, first of all, I don't even know enough about the dog to even have a debate with you. I'm like, well, you could have just said that in the beginning.
That nigga don't know me.
He's talking about going to get his gun. You want to shoot me? I'm like, you just like old Cincinnati nigga.
Oh, man.
As soon as you get mad at somebody, you want to go and shoot them.
I'm finna get my pistol. Yeah.
That's what he wanted to do. But he didn't know who I knew. So that couldn't go down either. but yeah, shit like that. So and that's your average buyer.
Yeah. So what you think the breeder gonna do if the buyer lying on the dog?
So you got a lot of that, and a lot of those guys have become breeders.
Yeah. Yep. They buy two dogs, put them together quick.
A lot of I think with the presser, man, there's just so many, because everyone says they want to work together, but everybody is really just trying to outdo everybody. But here's my thing, right?
Competition.
Here's my thing. He said, "Oh, Yeller, yeah, I think that might be who is that? Samurai Kennels?
Yeah, Samurai in here. Salute to Samurai. Okay. Salute to everybody.
But damn, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? I done forgot that fast. I was talking about I don't forgot. I saw that name threw me off.
Man, I act like I didn't hit the blunt with you. I can't even remember. What were you saying?
Well, it doesn't even matter. We'll go on another topic. No, okay, I remember. No, I'm talking about the argument with the press is everybody's trying to outdo everybody.
Yeah, he's speaking on the haters. Thank you, Samurai. Yeah.
Everybody's trying to outdo everybody. Nobody's really trying to work together. So in the sense of that, it's like, first of all, it's not legal to fight dogs anymore, right?
Right.
Well, not in this country. It is in other places. In other places, just don't give a fuck. We're talking about a game dog here. Whether people want to call it that or not, the presser was a fighting dog. That's what it was. It wasn't a catch dog because there were no hogs in the islands. Yeah. So it wasn't baited hog. The presser was designed to help them hold, to help bait. But on the weekends, it fought other pressers, and it could be anywhere from 2 to 5 dogs in the arena, and to dispatch of stray dogs on the island. Wow. It was a dog fighter. Yeah, that's what it does. That's what my dog does here. Stray dogs. Okay. So where I live in the mountains, you see, my dogs are really tested as pressers. Yeah. Ain't too many people can say what I'm getting ready to say. I live in the mountains. Over this way, you got bear. Yep. Over this way, you got a pack of wild dogs, 9 dogs that live in town. They come down and terrorize the town in the morning. Now, my dogs already killed 2 of them. Dang. Everybody knows this. The police know that everybody. They want my dog. Yeah. When we hear every morning, you hear them come down like clockwork. And they're smart, too. And they come down in packs of 3s in different locations. They come down knocking over your trash cans. People got cats that they got outdoor cats, so they got food out there for them. Oh, they got litters. We seen one that was pregnant recently. So they come down, they've attacked old ladies. Because I live in a real tiny mountain town, like really small mountain town. Yeah. And so, the dogs live in the woods, and they come down and they wreak havoc. So, no, my dog has gotten a hold of 2 of them already. But there's also just a lot of just random stray dogs in my town because people here, they're just not taking care of their fucking dogs. And there's more dogs here than there are people. So we've had 14 incidents, but 2 of those incidents were the pack of 9. We used to be a pack of 11. And Champa killed 2 of the males.
That's a lot of dogs.
So, but yeah, you wake up 6:30 in the morning. If you're up, you'll hear them. Sometimes my neighbors that live back here, they're falconeers. They live next door to each other.
Yeah.
And they're out in the early mornings, like 5:30 to like 7:30 with their red-tailed hawks. They're out there hunting with their hawks and shit.
Yeah.
So they're out there. Even when the dogs come down, it's like around the time they're leaving. It's been snowing like crazy, so I haven't been going out, but they still been coming down. So we're talking about a dog that is a fighting dog. Ain't nobody fighting presses. So since nobody can legally fight a presser in this country, then you really can't tell me if you know how bad your dog is or how bad your dog isn't. And I think now that's why you have some kennels are trying to take the dog aggressiveness. They're trying to take the presser out of the presser.
Yeah, watering it down.
They want to make it like an American bully.
Yep.
I'm not with that at all.
No.
I think you should go get an American bully or something else if that's what you're trying to do to the breed. Like, why we always want to ruin breeds? We want to make them bigger and softer over here.
Yeah, 200-pound presser.
And then still say that they're hot.
Yeah, like no, that dog can't do nothing. His joint screaming. What are you talking? What are we talking about?
So, you've got that, and then you've got these some of these other people that are in these cliques that do a lot of this bite training that keep saying, their dogs are working, they're working dogs. Like, dude, there's a difference between training and working, and we need to stop calling work training. Yeah, you're doing bite work with your dog. Okay, bite work. That means that nigga just hit a man.
Yeah,
that means he, in a real situation, not in a suit. Work is work. Yeah, training. If your dog is training on a man in a suit, that's training. That's not work. Right. Work is when the nigga gets done training. Who here? Who listening? You, me, who the fuck? You ever went to a job and you got hired on before training? Even if you knew, even me being a chef, I still go to a restaurant. Yeah. They still got to train me on their protocol. Yep, they got to show me where their walk-ins are. They got to show me where this is. They got to show me where that. Of course, they're not going to show me how to turn the fucking stove on. Yeah, you got to have some knowledge, right. But that's why you're there. Yeah. But in order to get the job, you got to go through training. Right. Niggas need to stop confusing work with training. Yep. Your dog ain't done a day of fucking work. They ain't doing nothing but training. Now we training dogs with empty gas cans. Who the fuck is robbing niggas with gas cans out here?
Oh man, yeah, you're right. Nobody. So, they got real choppers.
But you think about how stupid that is. So dogs are visual animals. We know this. That's how we train them. Yep. So basically, you training a dog that a gas can could be something harmful. So what if a motherfucker has a gas can and approaching you and needs help? So your dog has been trained that a gas can is a weapon, and this motherfucker goes and attacks somebody. As stupid as that may sound, it'll happen.
It happens, yeah.
The animal world is full of stupid situations.
Yep, it's like the Malinois. Like they take somebody's bicep. They don't even have a sleeve or nothing on. They take their bicep like this, because it's a game. It's something that they train and they keep doing. So they're gonna do it. It's a practice.
But why not use a knife, a rubber knife, or a fake gun? Something that the dog is actually gonna see, the weapon that he needs to see to associate with danger. Yeah. So now with the presser's becoming this guard dog. I mean, because it has to. If you unless it's either that or you're gonna bait it. These niggas ain't trying to bait no $5,000 dog.
Nope.
They're not. They just want to tell you it's a badass dog and charge you for it, but it's not. And I've had to tell many of them. I don't care how it sounds. I tell them all the time. You want to talk shit to me, bro? Just bring your dog. They never do. It always turns into them wanting to fight me. Yeah. Like, dude, you're 3 times my size. I'm gonna shoot you. You're supposed to be able to beat me up. I weigh 145 pounds at 5'8". Don't get it wrong. It ain't gonna be an easy fight, but you could whoop my ass. You 6'5", 200 and something pounds, you want to fight me because you know your dog ain't what you say it is.
Right.
That's what I tell him. Like, bro, like, what? I don't understand. Stop saying your dog is working, your dog is hot. Oh, such and such got the hardest. Like, I had a motherfucker tell me that pressers wasn't shit while he's training the presser, and at the same time saying that presser, this particular presser, is the hardest biting presser, but pressers ain't shit. But then told me the baddest dog on his yard is half presser.
Man,
that nigga named K9 Matt. For all y'all, I don't give a fuck.
Oh,
I don't care,
oh man, he's saying names, man. You finna have,
I don't
boy.
care.
You gonna be the only person I'm interviewing. So,
I think most people understand when they bring me on their show, because but these guys sit and talk shit just like this.
Yeah,
they do the same thing, bro. Dude, a lot of these guys are really morons, man.
Right.
And if it wasn't, see, this is what they don't understand. I don't need social media to be out here. They do.
Yeah.
They really do. I'm like I said, I done already been to the jungle. These dudes wouldn't survive. Like, come on, man. Like, I tell them, like, bro, you talking shit to me? Are you serious? Like, I play with a 9-foot forest cobra for fun.
Right.
Do you really think there was anything that you are going to? Only thing you're going to do is piss me off.
Yeah.
And when them Amazon boxes start coming in, they might not be what you ordered. No, you know, niggas, they talk about your family. I got guns, or here's my address. I said, why not say the name? Why not?
Right.
Why not? Why not? Because ain't none of them about to do nothing. They ain't gonna do nothing but get on their live and talk shit. I'd even ask them, well, fuck it, let's go live and talk shit to each other and let everybody see it. You're gonna find out how intelligent I really am, and they're gonna find out how moronic you really are.
That's another tactic too. A lot of people do that to run the views up, run the followers up. A lot of people do that, and it's not real.
Yeah, I don't mind talking to a motherfucker that I don't like, because that's how you sort shit out. But you know, like, this is my life. Like, I'm not here for money. I'm not here for games.
Right.
Like, I'm not. I could sit here and talk about, like, in the reptile world, it's always about who did it first, who did this, who did that.
Yeah.
I probably have consistently more interviews than anybody online right now in the animal world that is not like on Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I got 2 or 3 interviews that were so raw, they don't even want to post them.
Shoot, I can see why. I can see why.
They don't even want to post. I'm talking about shit that they're talking about with murder cases in the animal world.
Yeah.
That I got information about, like factual fucking information from the horse's mouth.
Right.
So they don't even want to post them. Because I figure, well, motherfucker, know if you bringing me on your show, then you must be wanting to hear something raw. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
That's why I said I had to start with a big dog.
It's plenty of morons out here, man. And you know, like I said, and they're gonna see, that's the thing. They're gonna tell you what you want to hear, and they're gonna sell you the complete opposite.
Yep.
They're gonna sit up there and lie to you to get that money, bro. Like, how is it right now that the golden retriever used to be the #1 registered dog? The #1 registered dog right now is a Frenchie, and it's not even a real Frenchie.
Right. What you get into that, brother. Get into that.
So think about that. The golden retriever used to be, I think, it's like pushing anywhere from 75 to 95,000 registrations a year with AKC alone.
Oh wow.
The Frenchie has tripled that number with the AKC alone. It's all fake paperwork, because we're talking about dogs that are coming in colors that the Frenchie has never come in before. Yeah. So you know why? You know who's breeding those dogs? It ain't even Frenchie breeders. There's not even motherfuckers who are breeding these dogs for companionship. Like, I'm talking about people who strictly breed dogs for companion. Do you know why so many of those dogs are for sale and are being registered? It's because of niggas like I'm talking about, because they can't sell their presses and their Corsos. Yeah. So they got to sell those other dogs.
Those dogs that are #1 on the list.
To make their money, to feed their shit, because now they got all these dogs that nobody is buying. So they had to go and buy the gimmick. Like, come on, bro. The American Bully could have been, if Dave and everybody who know, I can't stand Dave, man. Dave, to me, just shouldn't be around animals. I'm sorry, bro.
Brother, you got to keep them headphones. You got to keep them headphones on, because I ain't gonna have nobody else on but you.
Bro, like, I mean, he did a YouTube after a dog show. I really wish I could find him, and I looked for it for hours and hours one day so I could screen record it and do a video about it. They was asking him a question, and he literally said that if you are breeding dogs for any other purpose, these are his exact fucking words. The creator of the American Bully.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go on and say something else, and it'll match up with his personality. Then you're gonna be like, "Oh, damn, I do remember when that happened."
Okay.
But he said that if you were breeding dogs for any other purpose than to make money, then you are a moron and you have mental issues. Those were his exact words.
Oh yeah, he was drunk.
This is Dave Wilson of the ABKC.
Wow.
Now remember when those bullies killed that man in the UK, and there was that big old thing about the bullies, and they went and interviewed Dave, and he sold all the motherfuckers out about the XL bullies. The interview, I don't have to say it. I ain't making it up. Go watch the interview. He said, no, see, those XL bullies, those had nothing to do with what I was doing. And you know what, Dave, that may well be true. But the problem is you took money from those people.
Yeah.
So you don't get to say that bitch ass shit.
Wow.
How are you going to throw the XL bully community under the bus after you made millions off of them? Yeah. And now you don't want to be associated with them.
You can't jump ship. You
gotta
stay solid.
I ain't lying on him. That's the interview. He said it himself. So that show you what kind of person he is.
Right.
My homie Kyan, who I love this guy to death, he's like, I met him at a dog show, and the guy was real polite to me. And I said, well, most vampires are. That's how they get close to their prey.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, you've got that, and then in an interview, you say that you don't have nothing to do with that. Okay, well then you should have never took money from those people.
Yeah.
If I take money from you, it's gonna look like I got something to do with you. Like this nigga pay me $100 every month.
Yeah.
But I ain't got nothing to do with him though.
Oh no, yeah, we ain't associated or nothing. Yeah, that ain't right.
So where are the real leaders at? Who the fuck is out here for real? Like, come on, you really think AKC didn't know that all that paperwork was fake on the day? They knew it. It just got to the point where real Frenchie breeders started complaining. See, real breeders started getting fed up.
Yeah.
Because now they're having litters for no reason. Because you can't even tell a motherfucker that they Frenchie ain't fake.
What? I spent $5,000. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not hearing that, bro. They're gonna tell you don't know what the hell you're talking about, bro. They're gonna tell you, and we're talking about an average Joe Smo walking down the street who this is their first time they ever even had a dog.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're talking about. I bought this dog from so and so for $10,000, and they breed the best Merle Frenchies in the world. Like, bitch, did you even read the standard? No, I don't need to read the standard. No, I know those people exist because remember I told you about the guy with the Sicilian Mastiffs.
Yeah.
So when I encountered him the second time, I was in a weed shop in D.C. I was dropping off weed to one of the employees in the weed shop. Go figure. Yeah. So one of the other managers worked there, which is this ditzy chick who couldn't stand me. And so she was in there petting the dude's dog when we were in there talking. And then I said, yeah, man, bro, you got to have the right information is key out here, especially when you're dealing with animals. And she butted in and she was like, because I was talking about Frenchies.
Yeah.
The fake Frenchies. And she was like, I don't really see what the fucking difference is as long as I'm happy with it and it's what the fuck I want. And I said, so basically what you're saying is you don't care what someone's hard work did to get here. That if someone wants to take someone's hard work and trash it and sell it as something else, that you're okay with that? I said, so basically, when you get paid on Friday, it'll be okay for me to come in here and take your paycheck then, huh?
Right. Oh.
I said, because that's what you just said. Like I said, I like logic. Logic.
That's logical.
I like logic because logic kills most conversations. Because this day and age, social media got motherfuckers out here thinking and they in fantasy land. Oh, I'm an influencer. Nigga, you're not an influencer. Bro, come on, man. You got guys right now like getting kicked out of their house trying to breed dogs, bro. Like,
yeah. It's crazy.
Priorities, man.
Nigga, these bills need paid. What are you doing?
Priorities. Like,
Yeah.
but you want to be seen as a dog breeder. Is it really that important? Because dog breeders don't make no money.
No.
The only people out here talking about dog breeders are other dog breeders.
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, so what? Oh, okay, let's say you bred the best fucking Presa Canario ever in the world. Motherfucker's still starving in Africa. Who cares?
Yeah.
the Amazon was just on fire. I don't give a fuck about that dog.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's at this point, like I said, it's a gimmick, bro. We took a dog, an American bully, and that motherfucker went from being a standard. Now that motherfucker come this big, so it ain't even got no hair.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Crazy.
What's next? What's next for the American bully? Niggas about to be out here just dragging collars around on leashes, talking about this is the invisible tri-merle hairless bully. They just drag on a leash around. I paid $50,000 for this dog.
The fluffy bullies. I don't know at this point.
So it's like, where else can it go? So you're not even breeding dogs for work anymore. You're breeding dogs for money. Reptile game is the same way. That's why the ball python come in 7,000 colors now. You're breeding unhealthy animals and selling them for high dollar. It's the same shit.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing. The only problem is the biggest difference is dogs take up more space, and the emissions that dogs let off are actually, bad for the fucking environment. So you just got people out here just breeding dogs, selling dogs, killing dogs, sending them to the pound, doing this, doing that. So I guess what I'm saying is everybody shouldn't be a breeder. Everybody should not be allowed to breed animals.
No.
Everybody should not be allowed to breed animals. I mean, hell, everybody shouldn't even be allowed to have fucking kids.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, Brand, how the fuck did y'all have a kid? Did y'all just fall on each other?
Just sat on top of somebody.
Yeah, everybody, and it shouldn't be so easy for the average person to just say I'm a breeder.
Yeah, it shouldn't. You're right. You're definitely right.
I tell you, bro, I don't give a fuck. My own cousin out here talking about he's a breeder. This nigga don't panel. He ain't hip tested nothing ever in his life, and he's never going to.
Yeah.
He's never going to, bro. If you go to that nigga page right now, I guarantee you, if you got a brain, you are not going to buy a dog from this man.
Right.
Because you're going to read one caption and be like, oh, hell no. No.
Wow.
I don't, like I said, bro, it don't matter. When it comes to animals, like, bro, that shit, I go all in because they can't defend themselves.
Right.
You want to be out here breeding, then you should breed. But if you're going to be breeding, man, you should really be taking into account of the betterment of the fucking animal.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't give a fuck what it is.
Yeah.
You should be ready to not make a dollar.
Yeah. And put your life, you should be ready to die doing it. A lot of people don't do that though.
Yeah, I've almost died in jungles many times. Put your hand down on the rock. Fucking pit viper right there.
Wow.
I mean, not a pit viper, palm viper right there. Boom, wow. Don't move. But yeah, that's what happens in the jungle. Motherfuckers die over these snakes all the time.
Yeah.
In the exotic animal world, motherfuckers get bit all the time or anything. And they get mauled out in the jungles, fall out in the boats. Motherfuckers never get to see them again. I mean, hey.
Wow.
But yeah, man, no, that's where we are right now, bro. It's commercial. The majority of what you're seeing is commercial. It's going to make it hard for you to do anything. So we just need more people to step the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like I said, presser world, I talk to a lot of guys who are in and out of the presser world. It's a circus. It's a circus, bro. It's a fucking circus. Like I said, bro, you got motherfuckers paying to get interviewed.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to make yourself relevant at the end of the day, to make sure that people, when they hear presser, that they associate your name with it.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
That's not
like
real.
If you the real deal, they gonna pay you. You don't pay them.
Yeah.
They don't go. What part of the game is that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So what you pay your weed dealer? You pay. I mean, your weed dealer pay you to smoke his weed. Like, here, bro, $30. Smoke this shit for me.
And tell everybody about it. Yeah. Yeah, that's
every time. Let's just smoke it.
Wow.
I'm gonna pay you. Like, that doesn't even make no sense. Like, if you really that nigga or really that bitch, they gonna come to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's how I look at it, bro. Like I would never like, and no, that's crazy to me, man. Like to really want to be that relevant. But I guess when you dump that kind of money into the game, you know, because if you lose, but in a sense, you're really already losing.
Yeah, you
when
are.
you really think about it. If you got to go that route to stay
Morally.
afloat, you must be losing.
Yeah. At that
You
point,
know
go
what I
pay for
mean?
an ad.
Like you must be losing. Like everybody's got a channel. Everybody's got a show, a podcast. Where I can't even keep a channel.
Right.
You know, I said I hit 1 million views. 10 minutes later, somebody flagging my shit. So I gotta relaunch the website and pay for it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, niggas paying to get interviewed. I wish somebody would pay for my website. My shit don't cost $5,000. It's $400 a year.
Man.
But yeah, no. So that's where you at. So how do you buy it? How do you purchase a dog these days?
Right.
Then you know you got dogs coming overseas. Look, I watch guys in the pressing community breed dogs with genetic defects that they were told about, and they did it anyway. I'm not fucking around out here no more because I just told you that I only got 1.8% of the population that I can even buy dogs from, and I'm included in that with dogs that I've already in a program that I've already ran. Right. So where am I supposed to get dogs from? Like, man was told that, man, like, dog, don't do that. The brother had it and died of it. And then the other dog, sister died of it. And now you breed in the other dog. It's recessive. And now you just bred it twice, not once, but twice, and put that shit into the system.
Wow.
For thousands of dollars a puppy.
Wow.
But you see, but karma is a bad motherfucker, boy.
It is.
Karma's a bad motherfucker because now that motherfucker's in a real fucked up position right now.
Yep.
But that's how it goes. Now but the problem is now all those people got those dogs. You know how many of those people gonna want to breed their dogs? At least 80% of them.
Yep. Because I think it's a quick get money scheme. But
if he didn't panel, they didn't panel. You're never gonna make any money breeding. The only people that have ever successfully made a profit breeding dogs was American bullies. People.
Yeah.
And that's because one, they cut corners on everything. They cut corners on everything. They don't health test. I mean, most people don't do that shit. They're cutting corners. They're selling these dogs for outrageous numbers.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dog. I seen a thing where a guy was almost homeless and somehow ended up with a pocket bully and started studying the bitch out for $10,000. This nigga house bigger than my shit.
Wow.
I'm like, how does that happen? How did you even get the dog? You was homeless. Homeless niggas always got a dog, man. Homeless niggas always got a dog somehow. Don't ever want to sell it.
You niggas gonna get a dog.
But yeah, man. So, and you listen to the interview. It's all about money. They're praising the dog because the dog made them rich.
Yeah. If it didn't, it'd be in the trash somewhere.
It's also a dog. What they say, those little pockets only live 4 or 5 years. Yeah. Man, I can only imagine how many times, bro. I know one. There was so and so was studying the dog out. Man, they said they even studied that dog out hundreds of times. Took semen from this dog hundreds of times.
Wow.
What fucking dog was that?
Dog dried up.
Remember the fucking name of that dog? But a lot of those guys, man. Then you got what's that dog? The Hulk.
Yeah.
That dog is dead now. The Hulk. Man, that motherfucker was lying, talking about that dog was a pit bull for over a decade.
Wait, the Hulk died? I thought he was still alive.
I'm pretty sure the Hulk is dead.
Really?
I think his son is alive. Yeah, Hulk is. I mean, he would be. That dog is old as shit. He would definitely.
Reddy knows Marlon. Reddy knows Marlon. I think he keeps up with him. I think. Reddy is the Hulk dead? Let us know. But back to what you were saying.
Yeah, now they got this 200-pound. That's that Presta you was talking about.
Yeah.
They got that shit too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure the Hulk is dead because that dog is well over 10 years old.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but yeah, that dog's been around for a while. He's outlived most of his like a lot of his litters, like his children. He's outlived them. Yeah, Reddy
That
said
dog
he's
is
still
still
alive.
alive.
Yeah, yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. He's still living.
Yeah,
I wonder, like, I wonder what he did because you see the kids dying, but he's still alive. I don't know.
I know they had a dog die recently because he was
Yeah,
crying about that shit.
that
Maybe
was
that's
his.
the dog I'm thinking about.
That was his son.
But
I'm pretty sure.
me and my cousin, the same one I was just talking about, nigga, we used to laugh at that dude and that dog. Nigga, that ain't no pit bull. That dog definitely got some Bordeaux in it. It's got something in it.
It's something.
I don't know why you keep calling it a pit bull. That's my thing. Just say, don't. My thing is this: you want to make your own breed of dog, make your own breed of dog. Just stop saying that it's something that it's not.
Yeah.
Like, that's my thing.
Right.
And me and my cousin used to laugh. Never owned an American Bully. And what did he do? After he got done with them trash Corsos, he ran right over to the American Bullies that are related to the Hawk. He was posting the Hawk on his page. I said, that's why I don't fuck with you no more.
Wow.
That's why I don't talk to you no more. Because you're not solid, bro.
Right.
Like you're not solid. It's like I see guys do interviews, like they'll laugh at people. Like, I'll never fuck with that guy. I'll never go on his channel. And then you do an interview with him. Like, that's crazy, bro. You just sat and talked about that man for 2.5 hours, and now you on his channel.
Yeah.
Buddy with him.
Yep.
So
said the Hulk's 11.
I swear I thought that dog was older than that.
Yeah, no, he's 11. That's a long time, especially for that big of a dog. That's a long time.
But yeah, that dog started a chain reaction.
Oh yeah.
But now, now that dog is referred to as an American Bully. And I know there was that discrepancy between the ABKC papers and the UKC papers, saying that UKC was still saying the dogs were pit bulls.
Yeah.
But originally, and I guess that was only some of the American Bullies, because if I'm not mistaken, one of the first crosses of American Bully was an Amstaff into a pit bull before they started using the American Bulldog, which even then, that ain't nothing but a Scott dog.
Yeah.
Because a Scott ain't nothing but a pit bull into a Johnson or another type of, the other type of bulldog that was around. But crossing a game line dog to a show line dog don't give you an American Bully. That gives you a pit bull terrier.
Yeah.
Or an Amstaff, because it's the same fucking dog.
Right.
Like, it's so crazy. Like, even that story, and like I said, that's the same thing with the Dogo Argentino. They're like, oh, they're two different dogs. How? When? So FBI changed the standard, and then within 15 minutes, you got a whole new genetic form of a dog? How did that?
Crazy.
So in 15 minutes of the standard changing, you got a whole new breed of dog. Oh, well, the dogs are bigger. Well, that's because they always had bigger dogs and they always had smaller dogs. That's how you figure out what your standard is going to be, you morons.
Yeah.
Like, you got guys who want to talk to me about genetics. That's why I only started telling people that I'm actually a biologist recently. Because I got so sick of motherfuckers trying to talk to me about genetics and phenos and genos and RNA and DNA. They don't even know what the fuck it is and how it works. Oh, yeah, that pheno. Bro, you don't even know what the fuck a pheno is for real. If you knew what a pheno was, you wouldn't be selling none of your litters, nothing out of your litter until it's 4 or 5 months old or older. Talk to me about phenos or RNA. Somebody telling me something about RNA. What the hell did this dude say RNA was? Oh no. He tried to say that RNA isn't related to DNA. I said, you got to be the dumbest dude on the planet. You said you're a dog breeder? You can't have DNA without RNA.
RNA, yeah.
RNA is a file cabinet for memories.
Right. And
memories throughout your genetic disposal from your parents all the way down to your 7th generation. I got the fucking charts right here.
Oh, this my last goddamn, come on with it. Come on, we cooking.
From my last podcast.
Come on with it, brother.
Bro, like the breakdown of all of this shit.
Oh, wow.
All the percentages going all the way down.
This brother got it all.
Bro, I did a 3-hour podcast on a channel in the UK and in one in Canada. Line breeding, all of this shit. The whole genetic breakdown.
Send me that link. Send me the link to that video.
Like, these boys, I'm just, motherfuckers want to come get my channel shut down, so why not unload on them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I must be a threat out here, because every time any of my pages get booming, Asiatic, sir, he can tell you been following me for a minute. My last channel, booming. Wake up one day, flagging damn, how am I getting flagged for videos that's already on YouTube? How am I getting flagged for a video that already got 10,000 views?
Yeah, because you repost videos too, don't you?
Yeah. So you do, somebody did that. Nigga, that shit happened. I hit 1 million views at 4:30 a.m.
Boy, I'd be hot.
By 4:45, my channel was gone.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was gone.
Somebody watching you.
Yeah.
Don't come over here with that BS now. We just getting started now. You can't. We got what, 6 people in here right now. You can't hate on the process. Let me get there first. Let me get a little. Let me get some money on, and then we can talk about that.
Yeah, they shouldn't support the Hulk. I mean, it's. I mean, there's some things. I've seen some really nice standard American. I've had some really nice standard American, but like the original Razor's Edge shit before all that other bullshit started coming into play, and they were real. I mean, I didn't see no difference between them and the pit bulls other than they were just bigger and bulkier. But I had Amstaffs that reminded me of those dogs. Yeah, and they were fire. Like they were ready to hit anything. Yeah, they were obedient. I just don't like friendly dogs. Right. You know what I mean? Like that's my problem. I don't like friendly dogs. Like I want a dog that's going to try me. I like that shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's just what I like. But bro, it's like I'm gonna say it a million times. Like it's social media has turned this shit into a gimmick, man. Yep. Nobody is breeding for the breed anymore. Yeah. And now everybody thinks everybody wants their own breed now. Yep. Everybody's gonna have their own breed. But then you do got some guys like New Dogman. Shout out to New, who was really putting something together like the right way.
I'm not even hip. I'm gonna have to check out New.
You know, he's like, bro, it's gonna be 15 years. Like, but that's what he's supposed to be saying.
Yeah, that's that talk you're supposed to have. You're supposed to have 15 years into it.
You know, and he's got producers out there that are now producing off of he uses a lot of Fila DNA. Yeah. You know, that's his base dog. Okay. So he's done Fila Pressa crosses, Fila Roddy crosses, Fila Dane, Fila Dogo, Fila like Fila Hound, Fila. He did another one, Fila Malinois, and then he's putting all those together. You know what I mean? And then one of my homegirls got some of his dogs. The Fila, she's got a pure Fila from him, a Fila Roddy, and 2 Fila Pressa crosses, and she just had a Fila into a Fila Pressa cross litter that she's got.
Oh, I know you're talking about the Dragon Queen on Instagram.
Yeah, Callie. Yeah, that's my homegirl.
Yeah, shout out her, man.
So that's where her dogs come from. They come from my boy New. Okay. So you do have a few people out here who aren't, trying to do the right thing, right? But they get drowned out by the majority. Yeah. And like I said, me, like I'm just at this point. This is the extent of my canine career, is just doing podcasts from now on. Like I will never, like if I could place this nigga at the right yard, he can get the fuck up out of here. I'm just not a dog person like that anymore. Yeah. Like I'm just not a dog person like that anymore. Like, right. I mean, he's a great dog. Like it's no fault of his own. Like I just got other shit to do. You know what I mean? Like I'm getting ready to not be here. Like 2 or 3 weeks at a time. So really, like I would really not have to deal with that shit. But I don't trust everybody with it. Right. You know what I mean? Like I try to give them a couple of my homeboys, but they like, man, that nigga gonna end up killing everything in my yard. Like just off some like not even, they're not even that. We ain't even talking about no dog fighting type of shit. We're talking about like he just can't be around any other fucking dogs. Right. He's just too far gone. Wow. So, because my dude was like, man, if I had the room for him where I felt that he wouldn't get into it and fuck my yard up. He's like, because I know he will. He's like, I'd take him. He said, I'd take him just so you don't end up with the wrong person. But yeah, no, I just got other shit going on. So a dog just really ain't conducive to my lifestyle. Like this shit back here is a lot easier for me to deal with. Like I can bring all kind of reptiles and shit in here, and I can be gone for a week, 10 days at a time, and be cool. Right. But, with that shit, walking, feeding every day, watering every day. Nah. I've had my share. I like talking about dogs though, my experiences and things like that. But
Yeah.
I don't even have that many great stories with dogs as it may sound as I do with like reptiles, because you travel the world with dogs, bro, but you're just going to a dog show, or you might go to somebody's house and they got a farm with a kennel. Like, oh, right, yeah, it's great for a few times, but whoop-de-doo. Like, nigga, we went to the jungle and we saw king cobras and such and such and such. Like, that's some shit that I want to talk about. Like, not how I sat on the porch with this old ass man and we sat there and smoked stogies and drank, like Fernet and talked about dogs for 2 hours.
Right.
Like, not that great. Like, don't get me wrong, that's an experience, but
yeah.
That's why I do more. That's why I do more like reptile interviews. That's what more people, because I've just done way more in that industry.
Right.
But the dog game is different, man. The terms and all that shit have switched up. Like back in the day, you used to only have 2 types of dogs. You had show and you had pet. Now, because you got people that's got trash, so now you got show, pet, and work. Because a lot of these working dogs ain't gonna be doing shit. So because they know that they ain't got what they need, it's the working quality. Is it really? Because show quality dog was the working quality dog.
Yeah, it was wasn't a split.
It was supposed to be able to go to the show and perform.
Yep. Show and go. Oh, brother, you're cutting up. Cutting up, brother. We was cooking. You cut out, brother, man. Can you hear me? I'm gonna remove him. Try and come back in, man. We cooking right now. Y'all hit the likes. Get them likes up. Get them likes up.
But
yeah, you cut out for a minute.
It's all good. Somebody said, who got a dog from Frontline? I know a couple people that got Frontline dogs. They don't, dude don't like me either. He can't stand me. He's a crybaby. Anytime I say anything about him, he runs in my DMs and cries every time. I met dude from Frontline back in 2016 when he was a nobody. And I told him then I didn't like his dog. Like, well, you got one dog that looks all right. I don't even think he had Bane then. No, yeah, because Bane is the black dog. Bane is the black dog. He wasn't even dealing with black dogs then. He jumped on the bandwagon like everybody else did. Had to have a black dog in the yard. Had to have a black dog in the yard. Wow. But I know guys that got stuff off of Bane. And I only know one guy that's actually really testing those dogs. But the rest of that stuff I seen, I ain't impressed, like I told him. Like, bro, you ain't been doing this shit long enough to impress me with nothing. Yeah, I remember, dude. But yeah, because I had said, because this dude sold a dog to someone who's supposed to be another expert, and the dog ended up attacking him. So so he had to take the dog back, and then he tried to resell the dog for $2,500. And I'm like, bro, you can send me the dog up front. I'm not going to pay you for the dog right now. I said, but you can send me the dog. I said, because see, I know presses. And if what you're saying is true, I said, when that dog comes here, he's already gotten away with it over there. So when he comes here, he thinks that he's going to get away with it here. I said, so what I'm going to have to do immediately is when I get that dog, is me and him going to go in the backyard and we're going to fight. And I'm going to crush his ass. I'm going to show him who the top presser in this house is. I said, now.
Everybody, we don't condone dog abuse. You know what I mean?
It's not dog abuse if the motherfucker's trying to kill you.
You gotta show him. You gotta show him.
If the dog is trying to kill you or has already attacked somebody,
you gotta show him.
And you're reselling this dog. Oh no! When that dog comes to my house, we're gonna fight because there are kids around here. There's other dogs around here.
Right? He can't do what he wants.
See, this is where people become idiots, and that's why you had to do that disclaimer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to make sure.
So, okay, I bring the dog over. I can't control the dog. He kills my neighbor's kid. When I could have prevented that shit, it should have been prevented. It should have been prevented at the kennel that it left.
Yeah.
But if you ain't a real kennel and you don't know what the fuck you doing, it ain't going to be prevented when it leaves. And when you just selling to anybody that comes with money, then that's the type of shit you run into.
Yeah.
Because I don't sell animals to everybody that comes because I don't need the money.
Yeah.
I do more trading with my reptiles than anything. Like even my litter oppressors, I traded for some of the shit that's right behind me. Because one of the guys he had some geckos that I wanted. He's like, man, I've been wanting to press it a long time. He's like, I was gonna get a mastiff, and then you hit me up. So it's not about the money to me, but the whole thing is you sending a dog like that out to somebody, if dogs either, I mean, here's the thing. You say, oh, we don't condone abuse, but isn't it abuse to take that dog to the pound and where it's going to get put to sleep? That's abuse too.
It is.
So what are you going to do? I'm trying to get a dog a fair chance.
You're trying to save the dog. Exactly.
But he can't come to my house and think he's going to run shit.
Yeah.
We're talking about a grown, we ain't talking about an 8-week-old puppy.
No.
We're talking about a dog that's over a year old.
Yep.
You're damn right. I'm going to slam the shit out of it, just like anybody else know that they would, even if they say that they wouldn't.
Yeah.
See, that's the only difference between me and other people. I don't give a fuck. And I dare you to call somebody or send somebody. It wouldn't be the first time. You're going to find out who the fuck I really am and who I'm connected to. That shit don't mean nothing, though. You can call whoever you want. I don't have no type of charges like that. So, and never will. Because it's a difference. You gotta know how to talk to a motherfucker. But you're not about to, you can't send no dogs out like that to people and then how are you gonna resell that dog to somebody for $20? No, you give me the dog for free.
Yeah.
If I don't end up killing him in 24 hours, I'll pay you $1,500 for the dog. That's what I told him. I said, because that dog kills a kid, $1,500 is going to be $2,500 is going to be the least of my worries.
Oh yeah, because it's going to be on you. You got the dog.
Yeah, I'm going to go to prison.
Yeah.
So anybody that got a problem with what I just said, they can eat a you know what. Right. Because I'm doing you a favor. Any real person that has it's like people have a problem talking about culling. You got a problem talking about culling because you done spent $5,000 on that trash and you're gonna sell it regardless, and you know it's trash and you're gonna sell it. Me, no. I'll
getting ruined.
I'll throw a whole litter out.
Yeah.
If that's where it belongs. I'm not gonna put that shit out.
The older dog men, they put dogs down.
Dude, nature is the best color. Even in the reptile world, I talk about this and people get mad. But you talk about nature. Nature is nature. Don't nothing call harder than nature. Yeah. Nature don't give no fucks.
Nope. If you can't survive, you ain't gonna survive.
You could have just got done getting your arm ripped off by a crocodile and 5 minutes later get trampled by elephants. That's nature for you. Yeah. Don't get mad at me.
It's gonna happen.
Because I'm not gonna sell you snakes that have neurological issues that's wobbling around like this. What am I supposed to do with it? You should have never been breeding. It's the same thing. You should have never been breeding that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let alone selling these type of animals to people. Let alone selling. Right, like you said, that's a fucking liability.
Yeah.
People got dogs that are liabilities and don't even know what that means. Like the dog that I had that used to run off. That's a liability.
Yeah.
Not even because I wasn't worried about her attacking. The problem is you run out in the street, you cause a car accident. That's my fault.
Exactly.
Somebody swerved and hit somebody else trying to get away from somebody, as far as they know, a stray dog.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in trouble for that shit. That's why most people don't even have. Like, I got 3 types of insurance on that dog because he's a blockhead. Yeah, I got liability, health insurance, and he's on my homeowner's insurance. Most people don't want to even get health insurance on their dog.
They don't just get regular pet insurance.
No, because when I tell people that nigga is hot, I'm not saying that as a sales gimmick. I'm just telling you I'm not even selling puppies no more. So it can't be a sales gimmick. No, I really got a hot dog. Yeah. And the term hot, let me tell you something about the term hot. They stole that from the reptile world. That is not a dog term. That is a reptile term for venomous animals. That's where the hot came from. They like that shit in the dog world. We've been using hot in the reptile world way before the dog people had that shit. These are hots because that's what they're referred to. We don't refer to them as venomous snakes. We refer to them as hots. So I really would wish the dog people would stop saying that and come up with their own fucking term.
Yeah.
Because you don't have hots. That's a hot. That's a hot. That's a hot. Your dogs are just fucking aggressive.
Yeah.
We call them hot because of the venom. That's how we gauge it, how hot that venom is.
Wow.
Because if you will survive a dog bite, you ain't gonna survive that. That's why your shit ain't. That's why your shit can't be hot.
He talking that talk.
So
he talking that talk.
Yeah, bro. But everybody got hot dogs. But no, that nigga is hot for real. I don't think I would waste money. I don't want to spend no money on nothing. I would not have liability on insurance on that dog if he was not a liability.
Right.
I know he's a fucker. He's shown me he's a lie. He showed me that within the first week that I got him, that he does not fuck around. Total opposite of his brother, and that's why his brother ain't here. Because his brother is a dog that somebody would have sold to you, and then when somebody broke in your house or tried to attack you or your girl, he wasn't gonna do nothing for you.
Oh man!
Because the dog was in the situation, and he showed me that he wasn't gonna do nothing. So I'm like, oh well, shit! I died today. Yeah. And I had to defend myself. So because of you, I died today. So you got to go. You're not getting fed in my house no more. I'm not gonna keep a presser that don't press her.
Right. My mom always said, if you don't work, you don't eat.
Like I wouldn't keep a cobra that don't. People ask me, do they got venom in them? I'm like, of course. Why the fuck wouldn't they? That's no fun. I wouldn't have them if they didn't. So, but yeah, man, that's me in a nutshell. My experience with all this animal shit in general. But yeah, my dog career is pretty much ended, bro. Like I said, I just go on and do podcasts now because nobody is really doing this shit the right way. Like it's hard to have, like I did those round tables for almost a year. Those were pretty good. A lot of people, a good amount of people tuned in to the to dog cover. And a lot of those guys went to go on and start their own channels from that, which is what I wanted to happen.
Yeah.
So that was the purpose of that. But outside of that, bro, I've watched a lot of people. I've listened to a lot of people, and everybody's an expert. So that's why I say if everybody's an expert, then how come everybody's shit ain't top notch then?
Right. That's the thing. I did this. I want to learn. You know what I mean? I'm going to always learn. I don't have a dog as of right now, but I don't want to freestyle.
Well, some people wouldn't talk to you because you don't have a dog, or you see, and that's another problem in the animal world, especially in the dog world and the reptile world, more so in the reptile world. But like, if you haven't bred anything, then what you got to say don't matter.
Right.
Or if you haven't done this, it doesn't matter. Like come on, bro. Like just because you haven't bred a dog doesn't mean that your passion hasn't taken you. You could have gone all over the world.
Right.
Like for instance, you can have a motherfucker who's been breeding crescent canarios for 20 years. You come in 5 years in, you done been to the islands. You still never owned a dog, but you've been to the islands several times. You visited all the crescent kennels. You've been documenting. You've been trying to write a little book about it because you have a passion for this particular animal. Well, meanwhile, this nigga just been over here breeding dogs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just a nigga breeding dogs. He ain't talking to nobody. He ain't networking. You know what I mean? Just a motherfucker with dogs. So, in my opinion, your voice, I'm gonna want to hear more about what the fuck you're talking about than this nigga just over here breeding dogs.
Right. Because a lot of people don't do research. I've did some research. I've learned a lot of things. I've got questions about that I've asked you about and plan to keep asking. You know what I mean?
Like I can't talk to you about. No, go ahead. I can't talk to you about shit I haven't done. Like I talk shit about American bullies because I own them.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see what the hype was about. So I owned a pocket bully.
Yeah.
Worst fucking dog I ever owned in my life. I gave her away. I ain't even had that dog 90 days. I gave her away. A beautiful piece of shit. That's what it was. A beautiful piece of shit.
Wow.
But yeah, I ain't gonna tell you nothing that I ain't already put into play.
Right. And like I said, I loved your interview on what was that, Battlebred. I was like, so after I watched it the first time, I was like, man, I gotta find out where this dude is. Like I looked up the name, dark silver canary mastiffs, couldn't find you, and then I ended up making catch dog concepts. Then you followed me. I'm like, then you like you remember I text you. I was like, hey, bruh, you for real? This you? Is
Yeah,
you this
man.
nigga on this YouTube channel?
Yeah, a
And
lot of people saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people. That's the most viewed of the 4 presser interviews he got. That's the highest viewed interview on there.
Wow.
And I have the smallest following of anybody, but people already knew who the fuck I was.
Right.
That's why I tell motherfuckers, like, a lot of y'all niggas only relevant because of social media. I really do this animal shit. I don't just do dog. I really do this shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not a game. It's not a hobby. It's not a pastime for me. Like, I really, like, by the time I turned 19, bro, I had already had a passport. But the only thing I did, I got my import-export license, figured out how to do that shit, and I was on a plane to Asia. I was gone.
Wow.
Like, niggas ain't doing that shit for real. Or
no.
People like, oh man, I imported dogs. Man, dogs are easy, bro. You can import a dog and never have to leave the country. Like I said, the journey with dogs ain't like the journey with exotics. Because yeah, you hop on the plane, you go to a kennel, and you sit at somebody's house. But I gotta hop on a plane and go to Indonesia, nigga. We're going through the jungle. We ain't going through somebody's house. Because the nigga house is in the jungle.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, you in Bali on vacation, and we there catching cobras and all types of other shit. So the journey was different. And I was making big money doing that shit. So I was like, I ain't never really made no money doing dogs. You know, helping people set up kennels and things like that. But I knew I would never make any money breeding and selling. Not doing shit property. If you in this shit 1,000%, you got your house, your kennel, the cars you need, the amount of dogs you want. You're going to shows, you're traveling in and out of state, in and out of the country, bro. You're never going to make $1.
No.
You're never gonna make $1.
No.
You'll be lucky to break even. Dog, all them plane tickets, you got to get passports for your dogs. You got to find the right hotel so that you keep. I've been through all that shit. It's annoying.
Wow.
It's annoying. Plus, like I said, like it was like I was just spending more money than I would have ever gotten back.
Right.
So it was never something that I wanted to do for the long run. But you know, I've been to countries where certain things were legal that were not legal over here. So I got eyefuls of a lot of shit. You know, especially over in Russia where things were different in other places. And I'm like, man.
So you went to the Canary Islands, right?
Yeah, I went over there twice.
Right. So what did you see? Like, what were some things that the people were doing, like dog wise? Like, what did you see or what did you learn while you were over there?
Well, they love that dog there.
Right.
I mean, it's a part of their legislation over there.
Yeah.
But at that time, I wasn't seeing necessarily like an abundance of those dogs in the street. There was still a lot of other breeds over there. What I was seeing also were a lot of Pressa crosses, like Pressa Bardino crosses.
Yeah.
Bardino back into Pressas or Pressas back into Bardino. And I had a couple conversations with random people who either had dogs, said they had Pressas, you know, or there are people, you know, farmers who had dogs that I went and talked to, a couple guys over there. But I was on a slightly different mission over there than what everybody else was looking for, because I was looking for the dog that did what the dog was supposed to do.
Right.
So there weren't many people advertising that style of dog.
Yeah.
So the guys that I was going over there meeting were little, you know, very little known about these people, you know, at all. Really, really underground and on Canary, because Tenerife it was a totally different thing that they were doing with the dogs. But there was definitely a transition between. Actually, no, I don't want to call it a transition. There was definitely, what is a good word for it? there was definitely some discrepancies going on at the time between Spain, the mainland, and both islands. And I got to hear a little bit of those conversations about them not wanting to have different phenotypes. Their big thing was not crossing phenotypes. They believed that the phenotype should be same pheno should be crossed with the same phenos. Okay. So crossing the dog from Tenerife to Canary, they didn't, that wasn't a big thing for them. And when Juan Carlos did it, because this was happening around that same time, that's why Juan Carlos, who actually owned a dog not directly from him, but off of him, that I had brought over here from a guy. That's why they frowned upon him and they trash talked him so much and tried to say that, his dogs weren't real, is because he took dogs from both islands. Then he took them to Spain. Then he started crossing them, the phenotypes together, making bigger dogs.
Yeah.
I did see dogs that were ranging anywhere from 70 to 140 pounds.
Is that male and female, or is that just female?
The average range for both.
Oh, wow. That's a big
dogs. The dogs back then were, like I said, they were a lot more aggressive. Yeah. I don't want to say, because some people are like, oh, the dogs were bigger back then.
Right.
They were bigger and they were smaller back then.
Yeah.
They were both. But the problem is, we're talking, when you're hearing that from North Americans, and in America, North America, let me be clear, North America, because there's more than one, North America attitude is bigger is better. So they were only looking at the bigger dogs. So when I talk to guys, like, well, yeah, when they come over here, they only want to see the bigger dogs.
Yeah.
Then you would hear stories that guys would tell over here, and then I'd go back and tell those stories over there, and then they would say, we don't even know who the fuck that guy is. Shit like that.
Yeah.
And, I was just some kid over there. I wasn't very old, and I was in my 20s.
Right. Oh, wow.
Because the first time I went over there with a friend of mine who just happened to be going over there for vacation. And that was my excuse to get over there.
Oh. Okay.
So I started learning. I found out a lot about the history of the island and what some of the names mean and things like that. And, that was the island. That's where they kept a lot of the slaves that they thought were the most dangerous, or the ones that practiced magic, black magic, the Europeans. The Canary Islands was a drop-off point for slaves and dog fighting.
Wow.
So yeah, some of the African slaves, the European slaves, they would harvest They would harbor the most dangerous ones on the Canary Islands and interrogate them and shit like that. So the islands itself has a very interesting background.
Wow. So you talked about, I watched before your page got took down. You talked about I think you were reading a book. That's what you were doing. You were reading a book, or it was a PDF about the practices of the breedings of the crossings that were going on with the Bardino Majorero. If I said that wrong, excuse me, but I'm a nigga. It's gonna happen. But yeah, you talked about the crossing of the Bardino, which is a foundational piece in the Presa Canario.
Yes, it's the base dog.
Yeah,
you can't make a Presa without a Bardino.
Right.
The Majorero. Bardino or Verdino means brindle. Majorero,
native.
Majorero, means native. It's a type of cheese also called Majorero. But Majorero basically means anything from Puerto Ventura, that area. So okay. It's kind of like how niggas be like, yo, my nigga, or that's my homie. Or you have Mexicans call each other like Moro, or Guatemalans call each other, what is it? I can't even remember. Or like Hondurans call each other Paisano. Yeah. It's just a nickname for Hondurans, for other Hondurans.
Okay.
Like every group of people that they have it. So
right.
That's basically what it is. And go figure, like that's all Spanish, it's all Latin derived, so they all had a name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Bardino was this dog. That's what the island was named after, the dogs that they found there.
Oh.
obviously this island is a part of Africa technically, and not Spain by geographical ley line.
Right.
It's not European. It's just European owned.
Like everything.
So it was an African dog. Like I said, and they were stopping there, but the dog was fucking ferocious. You know, it had a real nasty attitude.
Yeah, that's where this is fire from, correct?
Yeah, all the things that you see and that you like in the press of like come from the Mahoero. I mean, it is the base dog. Any time you are creating a breed of anything, I don't care if it's a cow, a horse, a snake, whatever. If you're creating the new breed and you have a base animal, it's gonna take, you know, everything is gonna be derived from that base animal.
Yeah.
You know, everything else you might have used. So like, oh, I just want to make it taller, or I want to add a little bit more bone to it.
Right.
But you're breeding, you're still gonna take it back to the base because you want that, whatever that animal is, and that's what it was about. But that dog was a ferocious dog in itself. I used to have some old videos on one of my old Instagram of the Bardinos, like, and how they would just like explode.
Yeah, you showed a video on your consultation about the presser.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen that in so long. I don't know what the fuck's on there. That thing's on.
Yeah, I did a little research. I did a little research before I got you on here. You know, that's, you know, I had to put a little time in just to get a better understanding of what you about. And I didn't get a better understanding of everything you about, because you blew up a little bit on here. But yeah, I definitely did some research before your page got taken down and saw what you were posting. Young Grady said, "Is that the furry joint? Like what does the Bardino look like?"
The Bardino don't really have a type. There were many phenos of Bardinos. You had small ones and you had big ones. You know, talking about a dog that ranged anywhere from 40 to like 80 pounds. You know, and then give or take. Obviously you have some that'll be a little bit bigger, some that'll be smaller. Some of the coats were more dense than others. Not necessarily furry, but a thicker coat.
Yeah.
Because when I think of a furry dog, I think of a dog that's kind of like, the coat is kind of like bushy in a way. And Bardino, it's more of a, it's not like I think when I think of furry, I think of like a Malamute. Like for me personally.
Yeah.
Then when I think of like a dense, heavy coat, I think of like a Siberian Husky.
Right.
And so they're more like just a thicker coat. You know, on the dog. It just looks like a street mutt. Like I said, they look different. The ones in Canary didn't look like the ones in Tenerife, and they look, and even different parts of those islands, because they were even, you know, they were kind of bred different, like kind of like the Cani de Presa, different regions using them for different things. But those dogs would fight. They had a nasty attitude. They had high dog aggression. But you know, as things progressed and more people started stopping at this port, you know, they brought in different dogs, and you know, the Bardino started losing, and then they started like, hey man, let's get some of them dogs, and they started crossing them, and eventually you got these Presa type dogs.
Yeah,
and you know, it was a fighting dog. That's what it was, you know. But this guy over here, he used bulldogs and neos. This guy used you know, well, in the beginning, in the 15th century, in the beginning, you know, they were kind of limited to what they had. They didn't have we didn't have as many breeds.
Right.
A lot of those breeds didn't exist. Like the bulldog is older. I mean, the bulldog came a little bit later. You know, as its history would show, like Amstaffs and pit bulls, that's 18th century shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they wouldn't have gotten that until later on. But the early, you know, 1600s was a lot of mastiff crosses, neos, English mastiffs, Bordeaux, because those were the dogs that would have been around back then.
Right.
But then early, you know, going into the 19th century, well, the 18th century into the 1900s, when the bulldogs and the new pit dogs and the other styles of mastiffs were coming, then they started seeing more dogs. Now the Doberman is coming into play. I mean, excuse me, not the Doberman. We've got bulldogs, we've got pit bulls, we've got Bordeaux's, we've got Neos, we've got Great Danes or Boarhounds, we've got all kind of shit. But back then, I guess they would have been using Cani de Presa. So even then, there was no method. Is basically is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Whatever dogs they thought were going to make a better fighting dog under no particular order, they were crossing them. Or and I'm sure it was also based on money and based on connections. So and so didn't have enough money to get Neo, so he got these, or so and so, So it was a lot of cross pollination going on, and then all those dogs would come together and then they would fight each other. Yeah. And from there, they were kind of weeding out what the better fighting crosses were. So then they got better at designing and picking. The Neos were doing better. The so-and-sos were doing better. We noticed that the ones with more bulldog, those dogs were faring better, and then the decline of dog fighting came. But again, like I said, they were also using the dogs to catch and kill stray dogs and things like that. But then with the decline and the dog fighting and then them making it illegal, now the dog starts to dwindle down because nobody really needs it anymore.
Right.
So now you got a handful of dogs left. Some guys want to save it. Now we're talking 1970. Pre-1960, that's a totally different dog we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not even a breed then. It's still not a breed. Pre-1970, it's still a type of fighting dog. It's not a breed. And they were still fighting the dogs.
1970 wasn't long ago.
No, it's not. I had footage in the 80s and 90s of dog fights of presses in the islands.
Yeah.
But so the dog goes damn near extinct, and they've got a handful, I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 20 of these original type dogs, and none of them necessarily look alike.
Yeah.
Because it's all done differently. But because of the Bardino, like the Spitz, it's got that primitive DNA that you're going to see certain characteristics no matter what. And the Bardino itself is built kind of funny. So now they already had the blueprint. They knew what dogs they were using. They still had some Bardinos, so they basically tried to reconstruct it that way. We're going to take these Bardinos, these Neos, these Danes, these Rotties, these Amstaffs, these Pit Bulls, these Bordeaux, these Filas, whatever we can get over here, try to put this shit back together, and then we're going to take these last types, these original types, these original phenos, and then we're going to start breeding those dogs together to tighten up the blood. So eventually, obviously, those dogs are up in age. So you're only going to get so much use out of them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then now here's another problem. Like I said, because the two islands don't agree with each other, you got to remember those handful of dogs are divided up between two islands. So if you don't agree with each other, you ain't even got access to everything.
Yeah.
So that even shortened up the gene pool. And Corso even talks about that exact thing in his book, how they didn't agree. They weren't agreeing on shit. They still don't agree. That's what the whole FCI versus UK standard was. Now the FCI is back to the original standard.
And what does FCI stand for the people that don't know?
It's a federation. It's a federation of, I forget. It's kind of, I can never pronounce this shit. It's a federation. It's basically an international federation of canine studies. Basically, is what it is. But it's in German, and I don't speak German, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can never pronounce it. I used to be able to say it all the time, but I can never pronounce it. It's like some shit like that. CYNEO. I can't even remember. But yeah, it's a registration for canine research.
Okay.
But and they've got a lot of money that goes through there, and a lot of people in certain positions, and they're able to mess with certain things, and that's how they were messing with that standard. But yeah, FCI isn't a PRESA registry; it's a dog registry.
Yeah.
So it's not so their goal wasn't to preserve the Presa Canario. It was to appeal and appease to the fancier, the people that were going to spend the money.
Right.
And they knew the people that were going to spend the money, they don't want these aggressive fighting dogs, but they do like big dogs though.
Yeah.
So That's the FCI changed the standard. Well, they honored it, then they changed it. Now they changed it back. So now anybody who's got a presser that's over 120 pounds, you can't take your dog to the show. Technically, you're not supposed to be able to take your dog to the show anywhere. But I mean, you look at UKC. UKC is the shit show. Anybody can win a UKC show. It's not hard. Right. I mean, you got dogs that they say are not pressers that are like, have become champions. I know I've owned dogs off of that trash. So,
wow.
Yeah, man, that's I don't know what the future of the animal world is, especially with the legislation. They just changed the laws for shipping dogs overseas, so that's going to kill a lot of business. And they just changed shipping laws for exotics, but that's not as severe as having to try to sell, 6-month-old puppies to somebody. Yeah. Nobody's gonna buy that shit.
No,
especially a certain breed, maybe a Frenchie or some shit like that. Yeah. But nobody's buying 6-month-old, unless you're me, because I like dogs like that. I'll take a 2 or 3-year-old dog because I hate puppies. But your average person not gonna want a 6-month-old or older dog.
No.
So that's going to kill a lot of business. Yeah, it's going to kill a lot of. Well, that was the goal, was to kill a lot of business. Yep. So,
which then is going to make people try and make more of stuff that they want or the look that they want. So then you're going to have these processes of these dogs that are going to be in the shelter, that are going to be trash. You know what I mean? It's a cycle of bad dogs.
He said Morales. I know Morales. Morales know me. Morales, he don't like me.
Man,
Morales made a video about me.
Ox, you finna get him started again.
Yeah, he made a video about me. Morales got a lot of inbred bullshit. I will say this: he knows the dog though. He knows the breed. But Morales is just mad because nobody wants his shit because it's trash. Like nobody is talking about him. Like nobody is buying dogs from him. Like nobody's really trying to sell him dogs. His shit is so inbred, bro, because he can't get anything else. Now, are his dogs hot? He's definitely got some hot dogs over there for sure. And does he know the breed? He definitely knows the breed. Would I buy a dog from him? Fuck no. Yeah, he doesn't like me. He's mad because nobody is really trying to interview him. I think he might have done like one. I know one for sure, maybe 2 interviews, but he was mad.
He did like 2 with my uncle. He's not really my uncle, but Joe Church, NWA County Corso. Shout out to him. He did an interview.
That must have been his second one. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
He did one with someone else. It was real short. But yeah, no, he said some shit that doesn't even make sense sometimes too, bro. Like I've tried to get him to come on and debate with me. He won't do it. So like when you come to my podcast and talk shit, but you won't get on live. As far as I'm concerned, you need to just shut the fuck up. You go to all my podcasts talking shit, but you never go live with me. I'm like, we can do it on my show or your show. We can do it on somebody. I got somebody who can host it. I've been on all my platforms. I've been on, or for the most part, are 20,000 to 40,000 subs. So, I told him, if you want an audience, I can provide that. But he never wants to do it. But now as far as him having the original, that's the same thing old boy said. The dog father, he said the same shit. Having the original, I mean, I could say that I have the original, but nobody has the original because nobody has an original presser. Now you might have some of the you might have some of the early lines from the Reconstruction, but no one has a real deal presser because we all have Reconstructions. There are no more real presses. That's what I just explained. They all got drowned out in the Reconstruction. But yeah, there's some couple people that say that they got the real deal presser or the original. You have the original presser, but they don't even have that in the islands. That's my logical question. I ask them that. I asked old boy, the dog father, like, How do you make a Dogo Canario? I still ain't got the answer to that shit. He was like, he said, and he was like, Corso doesn't have real presses, according to the dog father. He said Corso is a liar and a fraud. His dogs, he's like, Corso just made a dog up and is calling it a presser. Like, all right, bro, you got it. Because I got Amstaffs, right? But
y'all got to stop name dropping this brother going in. I'll tell you, hey, keep your notifications on. I'm gonna be hitting you for these interviews because I ain't gonna have nobody else. Keep them headphones on.
He said all white. Are they? I mean, there were all white dogs at one point in time. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen an all white dog. Not one that genetically is 100% Presa Canario.
Now I'm gonna ask you. I've seen somebody did an interview. I can't remember the brother name. It was titled "The Rustic Presa Canario."
Yeah, I know those guys too.
And he had
that's about as much as as I've seen. Maybe like the most I've seen on a white is maybe like 70-80%.
Yeah, it's like he had black and whites, like he had the white like across here, then like the stomach piece was black. And
the problem is no one saw dogs like that for a real long time. And then they just popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah. That's
my problem with that. So I wouldn't buy dogs from those guys, and it has nothing to do with the color. But if I were, I'd have to see a DNA test from 3 different places.
Right.
Because like I said, I've been dealing with this breed since 92. And even the dogs that were coming over here that were exhibiting white, it still wasn't that much. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't that much, and that shit got drowned out because the standard may have said, 20% white is okay, up to 20%. But see, there's another standard that a lot of people haven't even seen that offered a little bit more white. That was like up to 30%. There's another standard that's all in Spanish. It's never been like officially translated. I got it somewhere, but regardless, the standard said is allowable, but the preference was something else. So the preference became the standard, even though it never said that you couldn't have white. But all that shit started dying out. Stop seeing any of that white. Very, very little white anywhere on the Presa at all. And then just randomly, these guys just start getting white dogs. But I remember there was a guy before whoever 7 Snarky is. There was a guy, unless this is the same guy, because what I'm talking about happened over 10 years ago. Because I was still on Facebook. Yeah. So somebody else was already selling rare all white Presas over here. And we're getting trashed all over Facebook for that shit. Because I remember I made a comment. I was like, yeah, only in the United States can a color that a dog doesn't come in become rare.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 100%. Like I wouldn't even why would you want that? That's one reason I don't own dogos, because of the deafness. Because like a lot of people don't understand is that genetically, the color of a dog's coat directly affects its health and its personality. Like that's a fact. It's a proven fact. I mean, you look at blue dogs being more susceptible to having skin disorder, white dogs with their deafness, darker dogs have been proven to be more aggressive than lighter shade color dog. It's a proven fact. It's you know what I mean? They did studies on this shit. So, but so anybody like, we breeding all white anything, you got to be careful with that shit, because those dogs are known for even having a lot of mental issues. So, like when I shit like that, it's like I said, like with snakes, with the mutations, albino, ball python, albinism is not a good thing. That's a disorder. That means you're not healthy. But people breed it and sell it for high dollar because someone wants to buy it because they think it looks cool.
Yeah.
So your average buyers, because of things like that, do more damage than the breeder. The breeder is providing the opportunity to ruin. You know what I mean? by putting the bullshit out there for you to have access to. But yeah, I remember somebody did it about 11, 12 years ago, dude. So he got all white, rare presses. But yeah, it was just weird how that dog, no one has seen that. And don't get it wrong, because I understand how genetics work, and that can pop out, at any point in time.
Yeah.
It's just the problem is with that is it's just like they came out of nowhere. So it's like, now if you had been breeding this dog for 15, 20 years consecutively, and it would have happened more than once, but for you to just jump in the game and then boom, I don't know. But then that's like that one guy, he says, not Pressaholic, I can't even remember. I know her. I don't even think she breeds anymore. There's another guy who he got caught lying about his presses. His presses were half Pressa, half Dogo. But originally, and the name of his kennel was Pressa something. Still to this day, I believe. But eventually, he did tell the truth. It was like, yeah, no, the dog is half Pressa, half Dogo. But initially, he was telling people his dog was 100% Pressa and was breeding the dog. I can't remember. Wow. I can't remember the name of that kennel. I think he might be out of Texas, because I was asking my homie about it. Because I was like, yeah, if I were to do anything else, I'd probably cross a Pressa into a Dogo, just for myself, because we were looking at getting a farm. And my dude was like, oh, you're going to be like old boy. I'm like, who is that? He like, oh, that's the one dude who lied about his dogs being Pressas, and they come out to find out they were half Pressa, half Dogo. So that's it, bro. But I've heard, and I've been told by extremely reputable sources about other kennels, like I said, who have Pressas and also have Dogos on them, and people bought dogs from them, and they DNA tested the dog, and the dog come back like 50-50. Pressa, Canario, Dogo, Argentino.
Wow.
So.
Shoot, brother.
It's a lot of bullshit out here, man.
Oh, yeah. It's always going to be a lot of that.
A lot of backstabbing. So that's like with me. That's why I just say names. I'm not going to backstab you. I'm going to tell you to your face that you ain't shit and I don't fuck with you. Like, that's my whole thing. Like that's why a lot of people like my content, but people who know me were like, bro, you're never going to be successful on social media unless you have your own website. Because
I've said Slaughterhouse Kennels out of Texas.
Yeah, that's exactly who it is. Slaughterhouse. Yeah, that dog, come to find out that dog wasn't even a real Pressa.
Wow.
Yeah, it was Slaughterhouse Presses. Originally, it was Slaughterhouse Presses. Now it's Slaughterhouse Kennels. There was another guy I ran into in North Carolina who said he had Presses. And then I watched his YouTube channel. This nigga was crossing Presses with Neos, with something else. Like, yeah, I got blue Presses. These are real deal. Yeah, he was showing you that he was crossing the dogs, and then still saying they were Presses. And so I said something to him about it. I'm like, come on, bro. Just call it your own breed, man. He's like, yeah, you right. I'm gonna call it the Pressa Americano. I said, hey, it's better than Pressa Canario, because you can't call it a Pressa Canario, nigga, because you made it over here.
Yeah.
But, but niggas was buying. But then you go to the comments, bro. Look, this is, I don't like social media, but this is one thing social media has done that I can't appreciate. Like, I already knew it was a bunch of morons out here. But social media really showed me how much and how much people don't know, and how many it really is. You go to the comments, bro, and there would be people in there like, oh, that's a raw Pressa. I had Pressa just like that. Like, and it's not just, it's whatever. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Wow.
You can't be that dumb. Can you? Like, how is it we still saying Cane Corso 30 years later?
Yeah.
Come on, man. It's like you're not even trying.
Yeah, you're right. Kanye.
Yeah, wow. How are we still saying Cane Corso after all these years? It just doesn't make sense to me. And that lets you know that just shows you that people really just don't give a fuck. Motherfuckers just now just trying to be seen and heard, and social media is letting them do it.
Yeah.
It ain't even about the animals no more. It's about the. That's why you gotta have a channel. Like you're like, I don't even have a dog. I got a channel.
Yeah.
Because I fuck with dogs, I fuck with animals, I want to have a channel. But you got motherfuckers out here going and buy a dog so that they can have a channel.
Right. Yeah, you absolutely right.
Like, bro, this shit is tacky. This shit corny.
And don't get me wrong, I done had people that said my face I see every day. What is you on the channel for? You ain't got no dog? You don't know nothing about dogs?
What the fuck? I mean, if you didn't know anything about dogs, that would be a good way to learn.
Absolutely. That's why I got you on tonight, and I'm gonna have other people on tonight. And like I said, you're gonna be on here a lot because anybody else gonna want to be on here.
Oh no, I'll get you some interviews.
For sure.
No,
for
but
sure.
niggas, you know how, especially our people are with each other. We make fun of each other for doing everything. Oh, yeah. that nigga's a good dad. Oh, that nigga's a good dad. Like,
you take care of your kids.
Right, that nigga trying to read. Oh, nigga getting money, you stupid ass nigga. Oh.
Still got a job.
So yeah, shit like that, bro. So that's why, like, a motherfucker like, oh, you shouldn't be saying nothing. You don't have a dog. Or you haven't done this, you haven't done that. Like, bro, he didn't say that he did. He just said, I don't even have a dog. I'm just sitting here. I just wanted to have a channel where I could learn, interview some people. Great.
Yeah.
That's what you need. You know what I mean? You don't need every motherfucker coming in talking about some shit. Like, because I said, I'm not breeding dogs no more. I just told you, I don't even want the dog that I got. That's how real I am. Like, I don't give a shit, bro. That's why I said, like, you with me, you gotta know. Because I don't. That's why everyone's like, bro, you're too raw for social media. You got to just have your own website. That's why I had to rebuy my shit. So I can't get flagged no more. I can say and post and do whatever the hell I want to do.
Right, y'all support that brother on his website.
But yeah, I got to get that all back up and running again. But that's my thing. Like, bro, I just tell the truth. Like, even with my snake content, bro, like, it's logical shit. Like, bro, like, motherfuckers will get mad at you because you're doing stuff that they don't like.
Right.
So what?
Nigga, who are you?
Like, you mad? You got people in the reptile world that'll get mad at you because you feed your reptiles live animals. So what? It's my shit. You want to feed your shit frozen, thawed animals? Go ahead, bro. I'm not gonna get mad. I think it's stupid.
Right.
Because that was one of the whole points of me getting into this shit was to watch these motherfuckers kill. Because I like that shit. So you don't want to do that for whatever. I don't need to know the reasons. All I need to know is you don't like it. I'm not gonna flag your channel. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, do what you do. It's your animal.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm just not gonna watch you. Or I'm just not gonna tune in.
I did a video about that, talking about, but real logical. Like, how are you saying, oh, don't feed your snakes or your reptiles live food, but then these same people have geckos and you have to feed them live crickets or roaches or whatever. I was like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
But see, there's where logic, this is where logic comes into play for the illogical. So you're mad because I use a live rat or whatever, but you feed your geckos live crickets. Live is live, right? Yeah. But it's like this because it's just a bug. And nobody gives a fuck about a roach or a cricket because it's not all cuddly. Well, to the mind of a reptile person, a snake is cuddly. But think about that. To the mind, so then you have people who don't like reptiles, right? So for the same reason you think it's okay to feed those live insects to those geckos, but not live rats to a snake, is the same reason they're like, oh, why do you have a snake? Why would you want a snake? They're so yucky or slimy, and they're not any of those things.
Right.
But because that's how they look at that shit.
Yeah.
But if it's a dog, it's okay because that animal was cuddly. It's the same logic. So you don't like snakes because they're not fluffy, and you think it's bad to feed fluffy animals to reptiles, but not ones you don't like. And these are, you see how motherfuckers, you try to bash another motherfucker, but then you just make sure you're gonna take this bashing yourself.
Yeah.
Or you got people in inboxes trying to tell you personal business. That's another thing I don't like. Anybody who's ever seen my channel knows, and anybody who's ever been on my channel, we don't talk about personal shit here. You can talk about their animals, their kennel, all you want, their dogs, whatever. I don't give a fuck. You can say all the names. We don't talk about personal shit.
Right.
Like I don't care what they did. I don't care what they went to prison for. I don't give a fuck.
It's just respect.
Because you got people threatening people's families. I've seen it. I've been behind that shit. Like, bro, I'm just gonna come to your house. Like, it's crazy that I even have to say that. But that's shit that's really happening. And it's happening a lot more because of social media. Because now social media, motherfuckers ain't got respect for each other. So they feel like they could just say whatever they want.
Right.
We're supposed to be talking about dogs. You start talking about this man's wife and his kids or his mama.
Right. Yeah, it's unacceptable.
Like somebody said something about, something about your mom. I'm like, my mom, nigga, that bitch been dead for I don't know how many years. This bitch owe me $1,300 too. So if you see her, like that shit ain't gonna phase me.
Right.
You know what I mean? But no, we don't do that shit. But I will talk shit about your program.
Oh yeah.
I will talk shit about your fucking program and what you're doing with your animals. And if you got a problem with what I'm doing, hey, go and be my guest. That's
Asiatic soldier. I know that's right.
That's yeah. So yeah. We're worried about a lot of bullshit these days, man. Shit that's totally irrelevant. They're attacking the women for being women, and shit is crazy.
Yeah, definitely, brother. I don't think I got no more questions for you, but hey, man, I appreciate you coming on here cooking, speaking your mind. Informing me, informing the brothers in the chat or people that might hit the replay button. This is the first episode. I had a heavy hitter on for the first episode. Somebody that's gonna speak their mind, and that just represents Catch Dog Concepts. We're gonna respect people. We're gonna speak our mind. We're gonna show that we have flaws, and if you bring that smoke, we're gonna bring it ourselves. So, like I said, brother, I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Salute to y'all.
Yeah, for sure, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in.
I think we had a question. It was a while back. I just saw it though. Let me see. I think it was Ox again. He was like, "What do you think about the American Bulldog?" Something like that.
I fuck with the American Bulldog. I used to own an American Bull. I fuck with it. I never had a Scott dog though. I would love to have the Scott dog if I were to have a choice. But I had some Johnson G. Johnsons back in the day. There's some strong dogs, man. I remember that motherfucker used to pull the mattress off my bed like as a puppy, king size mattress. That motherfucker that's come on from school. We're gonna got out, pulled the whole fucking mattress off. But now they're good dogs. I like them. I think they're a good dog to use if you're creating a breed, and I think just overall American Bulldog by itself is a hard dog to beat, just for a pet or just at home as far as catching, guard work. American Bulldog is a real solid choice.
Yeah, I like them Johnsons. They got their big crazy heads and they mouth be this wide. I like that. I love that with the Johnson, man. For real, I like them dogs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's it, brother. I'm gonna let you go. I'm finna figure out what I'm finna eat for dinner.
Yeah, I'm about to go make some clay pot rice. That's what I'm about to go do.
You really literally be cooking.
Yeah.
I'll be hitting your page. What is that? That look fire.
I'm about to go make some clay pot rice.
But all right, brother, I'm gonna let you go. Salute to everybody. If you didn't catch it all, hit the replay.
Yeah, appreciate everybody coming on.
Oh, I do have a question. My fault. What would you say to aspiring young dog men and women?
Man. Whew. It's a hard one. Knowing the state that thinking about legislation and animals right now, it's a hard one, man, because it's easy for me to hide this stuff.
Right.
You ain't gonna be hiding no dogs.
No, you can't hide no
if
dogs.
Shit come to play. And I know it may sound like kind of crazy, but dogs and cats are on the chopping block too. So hell, I really might say you might want to start looking at some cats. Or something smaller or more exotic, to be honest with you, because you already even where I live, we've had 2 counties, even though the bills didn't pass, but that's not important if you understand how legislation works. It doesn't matter. All they have to do is get them up on the books. They can bring them back anytime they want. But we just had 2 counties here try to ban all exotic animals and damn near 80% of dog and cat breeds. Because a lot of states are on board that don't, the government already doesn't want you to own pets privately because that's a luxury. Yeah. So, people are like, oh, my property, this, my property, that, it's mine. Then you clearly don't know where the fuck you at still. This is the United States Corporation of America. Like I said, I really don't really just do this animal shit. It's other shit that I do as well.
Yeah.
But I'm a consultant. So and you don't own anything over here. No. I don't care what those deeds say. No. You don't have any allodial titles, so it's not your property. You have an equitable stake in property, but unless you have an allodial title, which you don't have because they don't issue them, they're all with the crown. Wow. Then you don't own anything here. So, which means they can take it if they really, really need to seize it. It's the same. Because that's why some states and some counties have you register your dogs within the state and within the county. You remember, the states used to act as countries here. They used to be their own countries. And then they changed it to states. So that's why the state laws and county laws can supersede each other. Like where I live, they're like, oh yeah, you can have venomous snakes statewide, but there are counties where I live that are like, nah, not here, you can't. We don't give a fuck what the state says. So keep in mind about shit like that. And like I said, if you're thinking about breeding out, and trying to have international clientele, well, that's kind of out. Especially depending on what breeds you got, because like I said, the laws are getting ready to change for shipping of puppies. Plus, almost every country right now is going, you have to understand, like if you haven't been overseas and you don't travel, then you're not going to understand what I'm telling you. Every country is dealing with the same shit that we're dealing with over here. New legislation, new president, ban bills, all kind of shit. It's all happening. Go look it up. It's all happening in these other places as well.
Wow.
Especially European-owned corporations, Australia, South Africa, Central and South America, the Americas in general. So because of that, you might want to rethink what you're doing in general. Like I keep telling even my reptile people, like we got a documentary getting ready to come out by the same guy who did the Tiger King and Chimp Crazy. He's doing a documentary about reptile people. Some people that I know personally are going to be in there. And every time this guy does a documentary, legislation gets drawn up and bans come out. So that's what we're expecting. The reptile community deals with more ban bills than any other animals that are kept in captivity by far. So we're used to that shit. But we know eventually all this shit is going to come tumbling down. And even in the reptile community, I've been the one who's been trying to save this shit. That's what all my fucking podcasts were about. Every fucking podcast I've done. But motherfuckers just don't want to get on board. So the fact that you got to remember, I made a lot of good points in here, but I also made a lot of good negative points, if that makes sense, about negativity and bullshit that you got to deal with in the animal world. So because now you got to deal with that shit in the forefront, it's hard to group up with people and get shit done the right way to fight fucking legislation. Yeah. The only thing that's slowing the dog shit down is you have AKC and UKC and these places that have been around since 1864 that have millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and that will go to bat for you. But eventually that shit's not going to be enough.
Right.
Because when that virus hits that fucks with the animals, ain't no registration going to be able to help you out of that.
Nope.
Because you got to think like them. That's how I would do it. I'm not going to come and collect all these animals from y'all motherfuckers. I'm just going to kill them all.
Yeah.
They've already shown us that in other countries that they will do that.
Wow.
The problem is over here, we think that nothing can happen to us because we're Americans. Motherfuckers don't even know what that means. You ain't American. How you American? That's the name of a company. I mean, you work for them.
Yeah.
But you have North, Central, and South America. So when motherfuckers be like, oh, I'm American, I'd be like, which one? Which one? Which one are you talking about? Which part of the corporation? So what I'm saying is they already want to stop you from owning pets.
Right.
They already want to stop you from owning pets. So is it really feasible for you to get into dogs?
Wow.
Honestly. Wow. I mean, you really got to think about that. I mean, you starting a program, you put some money in, you get a house 7, 8, 9 years down the road. They're like, yeah, this virus comes out or something happens and now it's affecting animals, bro. It's done. And like I said, you're not hiding those dogs.
No.
You're you're gonna put your, and so we always got them hard asses. Oh, they ain't gonna take my shit. Oh, I'm gonna get my guns, nigga. These motherfuckers, we're playing with their old toys.
Yeah.
You ain't about to go get shit, nigga. Stop saying that, because if you were, we'd have been overthrown the government already.
Yeah.
So niggas need to get off of that shit, because you're not gonna do it. So you're gonna put your family in danger over some dogs?
Right.
No, you're not.
Because they will come get you.
You ain't that hardcore. Trust me. You're not. And you're not. So niggas need to stop saying that shit. What they're gonna do to the government, because you're not gonna do it. These motherfuckers got a weapon you ain't never heard of that can dissipate your shit like it was never there. You and them guns and them dogs. So you're not gonna go to war with them over the dog. You're gonna get your kids killed over some dumbass dogs? No, you're not. So think about that. Like, it's real shit. If you've really been following what's going on in the world, like I said, it ain't just happening here. You look up social media and animals or animal abuse, and you see in the last 5 years how much media worldwide, Ireland, UK, Japan, China, Russia, Africa, North America, everywhere, all these videos of them talking about this animal abuse, and we need to stop importation, and there's so many dogs in the pounds. Why are we still breeding dogs? All these dogs are putting to sleep when we have all these dogs that need homes. Like, you also have to think about that too. Like you were saying, you also have to recognize, like I would recognize, how you gonna help the problem when you're a part of the problem? Right. I'm a part of the problem too.
Yep.
That's why I don't want to breed dogs anymore, because I don't want to be a part of that problem. Because there are, like, you know how hard it is to place the dog? You know how much money? I'm going to lie to you. Like these other dudes that sit here and lie to you, tell you they made $20,000, $30,000 off a litter when they didn't make that much. Because, like, damn, nigga, how you make $20,000 when you asked me to help you sell some puppies?
Right.
So, man, my litter had a litter of 7. I only sold 4. Only 4 was good enough to go anywhere.
Wow.
I was going to keep 1 for myself, and that bitch didn't even turn out. So I only made, and even if I had sold all of them, it wouldn't have mattered, because I originally had listed the puppies for $1,500, because I just don't think it's a dog on this planet worth no more than $2,000. Right. I'm not paying that much. And I'm spoiled. Maybe that's what it is. Because I can tell you now, bro, I've turned down free presses, $300 presses. And I ain't talking about I'm talking about dogs that were selling with papers, ears cropped, $3,500. But for me, pick one out. I'm good. Wow. I don't want it. I'm cool. I appreciate it though. Just because they want me to have shit in their program. You know what I mean? And I got screenshots to prove that shit. So, but like, bro, you gotta really think about that shit. Like, I made $1,200 off of those 4 puppies total.
Wow.
Because I got sick of idiots who were willing to pay me $1,500. I had a motherfucker call me and say, how much for the Corso? Sorry, cane Corso. He said, how much for the cane Corso? Like, first of all, you didn't see the price or the name. Like, wow. I just hung up on him. Then I had another guy call me. This is the type of shit you got to deal with. Then you had another guy call me and ask me about the dog, talk to me for 30, 40 minutes, and then ask me if I can hold a dog without a deposit. Like, can I hold a dog? I'm like, yeah, I can hold a dog for you. Just give me a $200 deposit. I got you. He's like, oh, no, I'm good. I don't want to get robbed. You don't want to get robbed. Nobody holds anything without a deposit, my dude.
Right.
What are you talking about? It's like, no, I'll just, you can't just hold it. I'm like, no, because then if you don't buy it and somebody else wants to come and get it, so you're dealing with shit like that. So what I did, I took all my ads down. All the ads I had, I took them down, and I called people. I called one of my cousins, called a guy that I knew locally. I called another guy that I knew, and I placed those dogs according. Plus, one, I graded all my dogs because, one, there's no way in hell. Maybe this is just me dealing with reptiles and dogs at the same time, but I grade every dog. No dog is going to leave here for the same price.
Right.
That's why I said like up to $1,500. Like no dog is going to leave here for the same price because they ain't all worth the same price. That's why some dogs don't leave here.
Right.
Because they ain't worth shit.
Wow.
How dare me sell you a dog just to make money, and then like I said, it kill your kid, or somebody breaks in and then the dog doesn't do its job. But I told you this dog is a killer, because that's what they're going to tell you to get you to buy it. So I made $1,200 off a litter placing dogs with people who I knew that they were going to be with, they were going to stay. And I talked to all those people. I got pictures of all my cousin. He called me anytime he thinks something wrong with the dog.
Yeah.
The dog blinked too many times. He called me like, "Cuz, she blinked 8 times today. She usually don't blink this many times. What's wrong with her?" Because he loved the dog.
Right.
You know what I mean? He loved the dog. Every day he's with this dog, takes the dog. He works from home, so the dog is with him all day. He loves the dog. The other guy, he dropped the other dog off for me. The other dog went to Kentucky. The other dog I traded for some geckos. They love those dogs. And I can show you conversations. Look, I toot my own horn. I don't give a fuck. Where I put in work.
Yeah. I
put in a lot of work in a lot of fucking industries, and I've been successful in all that shit. I don't care what a motherfucker got to say or think about me. I ain't never failed at shit, and I ain't going to. I'm retired. I ain't got to do shit no more. I can show you conversations where everybody that I ever fucking talked to or ever showed anything to, even this last litter, I gave everybody the dog they asked for. And they will tell you, like, brother, well, you told me this is what I was going to be dealing with. And I'm talking about on the individual level. I gave you the dog that you told me you needed for your lifestyle.
Right.
Because if I don't have that dog, I don't have nothing to give you. I'm not here to make a sale.
Right.
See, motherfuckers don't understand, bro. Like I told you, bro, I'll trash a whole litter. I will. I have. I don't play that shit.
Not a lot of people can say that.
And I don't. Well, people will do it. They just don't want to say, because they don't want. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't care about that, bro. I'm me. At least you know who the fuck you dealing with.
Right.
Rather than the motherfucker who gonna lie to you to get that money. I'm gonna make you feel comfortable because, like I said, I might not even have what you're looking for. But I'm gonna tell you that. So getting into the dog game, you got to think about that last little shit that I just said, bro, because it's a lot. Is it worth it? Who knows at this point?
Right.
Like I said, if shit push come to shove and they start saying what you can and can't have, and shit gets tighter and tighter, it's gonna be hard to hide the mastiffs.
Yeah. And that's my breed. Yeah.
And it's going to be a struggle for you watching them take them.
Wow.
So like I said, I can hide this shit. I've done it. Yeah. In apartments where I ain't supposed to, you know what I mean? When I used to be a renter, living in an apartment, you ain't supposed to have shit. They come in. It's easy for me to hide this shit. I mean, I wouldn't be set up like this if I was renting, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even then, I can still hide this shit. All I got to do is turn it around.
Yep.
Turn it around. Put a tarp over it, put a TV on top of it. Like, I'm a fucking genius, literally. Like, my aptitude score was fucking off the charts, bro. So, but yeah, man, that's it.
For sure. Like I said, I ain't gonna hold you too much longer. We almost hit 3 hours.
Good, bro.
Boy, we cooked. I appreciate you, brother. I'm gonna hit you up for another one.
Appreciate it, man.
Alrighty, man. Have a good one.
All right. Yep.